Hello, I'm RJ City, and you are listening to the MonsterCast. You're going to talk about Bela Lugosi. They're going to talk about Lon Chaney Jr. Be so sad, holding his hat, saying, "Please put me in this room and don't unlock the door." And you can't do any better than the Dahl brothers. Jack and Ryan, they're brothers, but they're also bros. What? Pardon? Wrestling. Well, who the hell wants to talk about wrestling? These are horror movies. It's a deep genre. It's a smart genre. Fantastic actors. Fantastic cinematography. Wrestling is just sweating and fireworks and bouncy ropes. There's nothing to how do you talk about that every week? All right. Let's see them try. Take it away, you crazy dolls.
You.
Jesus fuck. Fuck my fucking ass. What the fuck? Please shut up.
No. Look, Master Watto is a
shut
champion.
up.
You're gonna put some
Stop
respect on his
fucking
name
saying
now.
Master Watto on this fucking show.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Co-Champion.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful here. You're watching the MonsterCast with Jack and Ryan. A big shout out to those fellas. Good people. Check them out.
Oh my god, what is this?
It
Who
looks
is
like a
making
TV.
the New Japan titles? They need to stop making
It's like
titles.
a TV, bro. They took it too literally. That's the problem.
They should have just turned it into a TV. I would have been more impressed.
That would have been cooler.
Put some
Make
antennas
it-
on the top.
No, just make it like a digital title. Like you could display whatever you want on the
Oh,
digital.
like an
title.
LCD screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then have
That'd be
the
sick as
picture
fuck.
of the person that's the champ. That'd be so good.
Fuck.
That'd be worth it.
Wrestling podcast. How fucking original.
Jake and Brian, Brandon Cutler here from AEW, and I hope you guys have an awesome podcast with the MonsterCast. What was that? Your name is Jack and Ryan? Shut up, Jack and Ryan.
Tell me who you would sign first.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
No, not overall, genius. Between the two goddamn examples I'm about to give you.
Master Wada.
Killer Cross or Dominic Dijakovic, who are you signing first?
Killer Cross. 100%.
What the fuck?
Absolutely.
Wrong! That answer is
would.
wrong!
I would.
Oh
Killer
my god.
You don't know shit! Your opinions suck!
I guess you're welcome.
Fuck,
See,
I'll boo it.
I don't think I've ever said boo.
I will.
That's so stupid.
I'll do it. Boo! You can't. Don't actually say the word because that's why it sounds weird. You gotta. It's like more like a note. Boo! You don't fucking actually say boo. Boo! 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 You don't turn it into a fucking chant. You actually have to.
I will. I'm gonna do that at Forbidden Doors.
Just start a boo chant. Boo! 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 Boo!
Here's your host of the MonsterCast, the Straight Edge Monster Jack and Ryan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the MonsterCast. I'm your host, the Straight Edge Monster Jack. That is Ryan Rockwell, and it's been 7 days since AEW Revolution, but it's been about 27 days since you've seen our beautiful faces for a full episode of the MonsterCast. We had a prediction show for Elimination Chamber. Went real well. Do you want to know those? Do you want to know the recap of that before we get started?
I think I won by one, right?
I think you did, actually. You
Yeah.
suck.
'Cause
You won by one on
think
both things, actually. On the confidence points, you got 10, I got 9. And our overall record, you were first undefeated record for Ryan Rockwell on the show for predictions. And 4-1 for me because
first
Tyler
undefeated,
Bate
they
and
have
Pete
5
Dunne.
fucking matches.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate fucking let me down.
I told you they're gonna be like, nah, we're gonna let them win the tournament, but they're not serious. They're little guys. They don't have a big guy. Damian Priest is big guy. That's their brain.
The overall records, though, I'm still up. I'm only up by one in the actual records, but confidence points I'm up by 7. So
Mm.
yeah, 47-40 on confidence points, but records I'm 12-7. You are 11-8 so far for this year. We didn't do predictions for Revolution because this guy was there live, and we're going to talk about everything AEW Revolution to start out the program. But we do have a huge show for you today because, like I said, it's been a month. So hopefully everybody's doing well out there, and you didn't miss us too much. I'm rocking the Bull Nakano shirt. I think that's her name.
Who?
Yeah, I think that's her name. That's what I was told by somebody. Oh, also, it's at the bottom of the shirt. So Bull Nakano. So that helped. I didn't know if that was the brand or if that was her name. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know
Just
what kind of shirt I was wearing.
Chicago Bulls.
Since nobody knows who this is. But I'm rocking the shirt for obviously the very apparent reason that she is now the newest member. Well, was the newest member. Of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024, which we will talk about later on. Ryan's obviously right back into his classic black shirts.
Yes, this is also a Bull Nakano shirt.
You didn't get anything from didn't buy anything from Revolution, huh?
So I never go to the merch shit at the start of the show because I just want to get in my seat.
Yeah.
And then
Well, I mean
obviously by
that is the
you're
prime
leaving-
time to go to the shit though. If you can
It's
run
not,
into
because
it.
that's where it is if you're worried about inventory. But
Correct.
if you're worried about lines,
Well, at this
I'm
show,
not
I would
fucking
be worried about
standing
inventory
out.
because I know that they would have a special Sting shirt, and I would want that Sting shirt type deal.
They had a few. They had a jacket that was like a little. It said Sting on it. It was like pink. I was like, like the word Sting was pink, not the whole jacket. There were a few things. I looked at it on the way out, and I was just like, nothing's really jumping out at me, so I didn't get anything now. I don't think I've ever bought merch at a wrestling show.
I always buy merch at a wrestling show. I don't think I've ever come out of a wrestling show without merch. And the 3 hockey games that I went to this year, first 2, or the first one I didn't leave with any merch, but that was because I couldn't find the merch because this is our first time going. So I wasn't very familiar with the setup and everything.
Desk in the corner.
Well, we went into it's not a wrong parking lot, but it was the parking lot further away from the actual thing. So we go into the convention part of the arena instead of the actual where they actually have the fucking hockey or wrestling events, concerts, etc. So it took us a while, and we had to ask a couple people like, "Where the fuck are we supposed to be going?" Because there's nowhere that looks like a stadium where we are right now. So then we found out, and then because we were on the visiting side, quote unquote, the merch stuff was actually on the home side when the fans come in. The next time we went into the second parking lot instead. Went right in. As soon as we go in, guess what's sitting right there? Merch. So I was like, okay, well, I'm getting some merch this time. So I got a couple shirts the second hockey game. The third hockey game, I didn't have any money to get merch, but I wanted some. But yeah, I always pretty much leave with merch from the 2 baseball games I went to. Left with merch. Almost every wrestling show, I'm pretty sure I leave with merch. I got the AEW Elite foam hand and the Fight for the Fallen t-shirt with Dustin Cody and the Young Bucks on it. Got that shirt. So I mean, I always try to leave with something. Especially if it's something that says, I was there type deal, or something that you can't really get anywhere else. I'm all for that kind of shit.
I wear the same shit
Correct.
all the time. So for me, buying a shirt at a show I'm probably never gonna wear is like.
Yeah, well, I mean, in your case, it would only really be worth it if you were planning on going to see Sting at a convention and then get him to sign said shirt, and then you could just put it up somewhere, something like that. Yeah, it never crossed my mind that you'd be wearing whatever the fuck you bought from but I mean, they have other stuff too. They got like AEW tumblers, and I'm sure like other shit that is actually like useful at the same time, multifunctional.
I feel
let's talk about Revolution. Revolution, in my opinion, their best pay-per-view from top to bottom. I know a lot of people say All Out 2021 is basically that in this, right? That's what that's what the conversation was. I won't say argument, but that was the conversation. Because All Out 2021, you had the cage match with the Lucha Brothers and the
Young Bucks, right?
Young Bucks, yes. You had, I believe that's the same show that had. Hold on, let me pull it up because I don't want to be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's when Ruby Soho came in too. No, or was that the next year? All Out 2021.
All Out 2021.
Here we go.
Christian Cage and Kenny Omega.
Yeah,
That was
that's right after he beat him for the Impact title on the first Rampage.
Yeah, that's the one where you debuted Cole and Brian in the same night too. And Soho did come out for the Battle Royale. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was right. So yeah, this is the one I bet on. This is like the only wrestling pay-per-view I've actually put bets on because I won the Ruby Soho because she was the Joker. I won that one. I lost the Lucha Brothers match, and I won another one.
No faith in the Lucha Brothers?
No, I love the Lucha Brothers. I just didn't think they were
You probably bet on the Jericho MJF one since it was a retirement match.
No, I can't remember. It wasn't that one. It could have been Kenny Omega one, honestly, just because that
Should
was
have bet on Paul White
one.
versus QT Marshall.
Yeah, so this is the pay-per-view that is being compared to the one that we just saw, right? And when you take out the main parts of All Out 2021, which is obviously what everybody's going to remember because, revisionist history type deal. It's great, right? You had the cage match, which was obviously a big deal. Miro and Eddie Kingston was way better than we thought it was going to be. I think that's when Eddie really started fucking getting super popular as a babyface with the fans. At least in AEW anyway. But like if you look at the other stuff though, Punk and Darby Allin, that's what Punk's first match, and Punk actually was a lot better than a lot of people thought he was going to be. But Paul White and QT Marshall, in your estimation, that is easily the weakest one on here. It was a 3-minute match on a pay-per-view. You have Omega and Christian was good, but we all knew Omega was going to win because of what happened on Rampage. He wasn't going to lose both titles to Christian back to back.
Right.
So that takes a little hit for me.
And the rumor was that Brian was going to be debuting there. The Adam Cole thing I remember was a surprise.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they debuted Brian like everybody expected.
Yeah, and if you're going to say the best pay-per-view, you have to take into account even though that wasn't a match, but the two back-to-back debuts was a fucking crazy ass moment, and then of course that's all everybody's talking about is that and pretty much the cage match coming out of that.
Yeah, and obviously they're not like debuts, but at Revolution you had Pac coming back or announcing his comeback, and Kyle O'Reilly coming back. So,
correct.
I mean, there was stuff like that there too.
You had that, and then you also had Takeshita and Ospreay
and Stephen Borden.
You had Ospreay's first match actually signed in AEW. So it was his first official match with AEW. He has a fucking 5-star match with Takeshita. You have
3/4, says David.
You have the insane main event, Sting's last match, which I don't think could have gone better. And then you had I thought the Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo match was better than the singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship at All Out 2021.
Yeah, probably. So here's where it's hard for me to make any sort of comparison like that, is that I have not watched Revolution. Like I went.
Yeah.
But it's different to compare it like as a television product. So I wouldn't be able to say like which one was better, I guess, not fairly without watching it as a television product. And probably going back and actually rewatching All Out 2021 as well.
Okay, so here's the way if you're going to compare the two pay-per-views, you'd have to line them up side by side and really watch them pretty much back to back is what I would do. Go on BR Live or whatever the fuck you purchased them on and watch those two shows back to back. I personally do think that this last Revolution, the one that you went to, is their best pay-per-view from top to bottom.
I have really good luck at going to good ones. every pay-per-view I've been to, it hasn't been like, oh, hey, okay, that was okay. It was kind of they've all been really good shows.
You got Miro and Eddie Kingston for the AEW TNT Championship, right? From All Out 2021, it went 13 minutes and 25 seconds. This one, the TNT title, was Christian and Daniel Garcia. I would call that a wash, if anything. It's not one was really better than the other. So we can say that's even.
True.
All right. You got Moxley versus Kojima in a singles match. That was just a regular-ass singles match. What was a regular-ass singles match on this show, on Revolution? Do you remember any regular-ass singles matches?
a sec. Sorry.
I feel like every match was
Unrelated. I just got a different text. Sorry.
no, you're good. I just feel like every match had something attached to it, though. I don't remember.
I mean, there was the no, because those were matches. Well, I mean, technically, Osprey and Takeshita was.
Oh yeah,
that
okay.
wasn't for anything.
Well,
Right?
yeah, okay. Well, then guess what? Well, then guess who overwhelmingly wins that one?
Kojima probably.
No. All right,
He's
then you had
he's
Britt
also-
Baker defeating Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's World
I like
Championship.
Kojima.
So I think the Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo was better than that match.
I wasn't okay. So I will say this, and it wasn't. It suffered from coming right after the tag match, I think, because the crowd. It was hard to get the crowd into the Women's World Championship match, and I think everybody popped for what they thought was Tony coming back out in her real gimmick. And then after she came back out in the old one, like people like the old one, but it kind of did deflate the crowd a little bit that she wasn't doing the retro. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like people seemed disappointed. And then they never really got into the match, I guess, in the same way that they were for the match before it, or obviously the one after it, because that was the Osprey one was after. I just think that tag match was hard to follow.
Speaking of the tag matches, we take that one. That wasn't for anything. That was Moxley and Claudio versus FTR. There was no titles on the line in that. But it's I mean, obviously Lucha and Young Bucks obviously are better, but it's closer than fucking Moxley and Kojima versus Osprey and Takeshita. Yeah. You had the special match, the special attraction match, we'll call it, for the Casino Battle Royale. We'll put that against the like the 9-man scramble or whatever the hell, 8-man scramble. We can put those two against each other because that's like the weird match with a bunch of shit going on.
So I think you probably know, but after every pay-per-view, Meltzer will ask people to shoot him an email just saying like, overall pay-per-view, thumbs up, thumbs down, best match, worst match. And I do that for pretty much all of them. And I did list the Scramble as the worst match on the card. And it's not that it was like so glaringly bad or anything.
Correct. Like, I think you're about to make my point for
like
me why I think it's the
like a
best overall
2-star
pay-per-view. If that's the worst match on the show,
yeah,
I mean, that's a pretty fucking good show. Exactly.
Yeah.
Jericho defeating MJF by submission. CM Punk defeating Darby Allin. These are all matches that didn't have anything on the line. They were just storylines that, you know, AEW never does stories, or they do too many stories, whichever side of the fence you stand on. That's fucking stupid.
Too many belts.
You got Paul White and KT Marshall, nothing on the line in that match. So
what do you mean? Control
this is back in the day when AEW only had 3 titles.
2 belts. Yeah, so I was gonna say that too. So on this one though, on Revolution, obviously you've got the international title, which didn't exist in 2021. You've got the obviously the Triple Crown, which didn't exist back then. So yeah, it's just there was more to fight for, which also helps.
Yeah, Triple Crown match. Eddie Kingston and Danielson. We didn't even talk about that yet. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, this pay-per-view from top to bottom is the best pay-per-view in my opinion. I think it's better than overall. It is better than All Out 2021. I'm literally looking at this fucking card, and I remember this card obviously.
Yeah,
I
don't know why they picked that one as the comparison. I don't know why people hold
Which
that
one do you
card in
think
such
would
high
be
esteem.
like the best one?
Probably one of the other. I mean, probably
Revolutions?
Forbidden Door.
Oh no, we'd say they're not counting that. They're not counting something that they're AEW.
Okay.
AEW.
Fucking.
All In was pretty good.
All In was pretty good.
You had other Revolution. You had other Revolution pay-per-views that had like really insane matches. Like obviously the tag match with the Bucks and Adam Page and Omega was a huge deal. The Revolution that had, I believe, that was the Iron Man match with Danielson and MJF. Was that Revolution as well? Am I remembering that incorrectly? I believe that not the same one, obviously, but it was Revolution. I feel like Revolution is their
Well,
best pay-per-view usually.
Revolution, Revolution 2022 had the MJF CM Punk dog collar match.
Yes, okay, that's what it was then. That's what I was thinking
So
of. Revolution.
yeah, I mean that obviously is like a big deal.
Yes,
You
Revolution
had
2023 is the Iron Man match, I believe.
2022 is also where Regal showed up at the end of the Moxley Danielson one, and
Okay, so Revolution 2023. Let me throw this out at you, okay?
Okay.
Remember, I only need to say these two matches, okay?
Hmm.
MJF defeated Bryan Danielson 4-3 in sudden death overtime for the 60-minute Iron Man match that went an hour and 5 minutes. The other match that everybody was talking about coming out of that was the Texas Death match between Adam Page and fucking Swerve.
Moxley. Well, no, in 2023,
Yeah.
it would have been Page and Moxley, not Swerve.
Oh, did I read that wrong? It is Page and Moxley. My bad. Yes, Page and Moxley. Swerve was this past year, like at the end of the year, Full Gear, I believe. But yeah, Moxley, when they were having their huge fucking storyline going back and forth, blood everywhere, fucking insane. That's when also Wardlow defeated Samoa Joe by submission when he choked him out. You had House of Black defeating the Elite in the trios match for the world title, for the world trios title, which was insane. That match was crazy as fuck. The final burial match with Jack Perry and Christian Cage, which was crazy, and we also didn't know the rules.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks defeated.
It was like a casket match
Ricky Starks
whatever,
beat
but...
Chris Jericho. And then the 0 hour match was a trios match with Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers against the Varsity Athletes and Ari Daivari. You also had the three-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship, which was Jamie Hayter defeating Saraya and Ruby Soho.
Well, we're spending a lot of time looking at past events, but I will say it's hard to think of one like off the top of your head that I would say is easily like better than it.
Like I would probably put this one over All Out 2021 looking at it right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I don't think All Out 2021, I think it's revisionist history or like you lived in the moment because of the double debut at the end and because of the cage match. Like those are no question like top probably 5-10 moments in AEW history in their short history right now.
Punk's first match back too.
Yeah, those are three really big things, but the rest of the card doesn't round it out enough like AEW Revolution just did 2024. Yes.
Like I said, I'd have to go watch it because it is different being there.
Did you ever go back and watch the 2 Forbidden Doors that you went to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, I did. Sure did. I felt like the Omega Ospreay match was better in person than it was on television, but most of the other ones were better on television, if that makes sense. And then for the first one, the only thing I really remember is that, as far as like a difference, is that from where I was sitting, the Claudio debut was a lot different for me, experiencing it from the other side of the ring, trying to see who the fuck was coming out of the ramp, and then seeing the little Swiss cross thing up on the television and knowing who it was, versus like on the television thing, it was just like, yeah. But also on television, them trying to sell it like he was about to fucking squash Zack Sabre Jr. It wasn't as, maybe it's just because I already saw it in person. I didn't bite nearly. I don't think I would have bitten nearly as hard as I did in person. I thought for sure he was going to come out and fucking squash him when he had with that neutralizer like 10 seconds into the match.
Yeah, didn't like run right at him in the corner with the fucking uppercut out of nowhere and then like put him in the neutralizer.
Instantly into the neutralizer. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this show then. I got it pulled up. Let's talk about 0 Hour. I thought 0 Hour was probably one of their better 0 hours that they've ever had. They had the Bang Bang Scissor Gang defeat the Jeff Jarrett crew and Willie Mack. And then
did you notice how many people did not understand what Jay White was doing? People around us, I say us, I was fucking there by myself. People around me were, they were like, they're like, oh, okay, like he's a good guy now. That's why he's saying Greensboro. But if you listen to the way that he fucking says it, he's clearly doing it as like satire of face shit.
Yeah, no, he's being
Like,
sarcastic as fuck.
yes, but
No,
nobody
agreed.
around
He was
got
doing it
it.
on Dynamite too with Darby.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Greensboro, the best wrestling city in the world. And everybody's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he's making fun of you. Like,
Yeah.
you don't fucking understand.
No, he's definitely doing that. He did it
Yeah.
with Sting and the Atlanta crowd or whatever the fuck they were on Dynamite as well. Like he's
doing
not
the-
ever going to be face. I don't think. Like I don't think it's possible for him to be a full on face anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way. And then of course you can see the dissension already within the group. It's never really like not had dissension. So it's almost like we're just going to be together just to be more powerful for right now. But they all know that it's not going to fucking work. At least
Do
the
you think
Bullet Club goes.
this is for
Bullet
them
Club
to
goes.
unify those trios belts? So that
I don't know if that's
Tony
what they're
doesn't
going to
have
do or not, honestly. I see a lot of people say that that's what they want them to do. I don't necessarily feel the same way. If you actually put the effort into Ring of Honor like you should be doing, you should have enough people in Ring of Honor that don't fucking cross over. All right, you already know I'm not a fan of that, but I understand it because they don't have the TV deal. But yeah, you don't need 2 sets of trios titles on fucking AEW, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see why they just don't do like if they're gonna do something like that, I would do it like have them fight the team that wins both titles, they drop the Ring of Honor titles and vacate them. And they either go back to Ring of Honor or they just fucking stay vacated until you're ready to use them again. That's what I would do. I wouldn't unify them because then you'd have to bring them back and it's a whole new set of titles for Ring of Honor. No, I don't want that. Just vacate the Ring of Honor ones because they don't have anything to do with AEW anyway, or they're not supposed to. And then just bring them back whenever you are capable of doing so with that division or whenever you get the TV deal or whatever. Like they already have enough issues where they're not having their champions on their fucking Ring of Honor weekly shows besides Athena anyway.
Well, okay. So next match.
Yeah, next up we got the Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale defeating Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I thought that match was pretty good.
People really so obviously everybody pops a lot when Willow comes out or whatever, but the reaction for Julia Hart was probably the loudest out of all 4 of them. And she does have like a really fucking cool entrance too, which I think helps.
The song and the entrance is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
The House Always Wins, I fucking sing it every time. I sing it every time the House Always Wins line comes up. Every
so
fucking
does she
time.
On the way out.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. It's fucking catchy. I'm still waiting on my album, by the way. It should be here soon, actually. It's March now, so I think March is when it was supposed to get here. So it has all the different House of Black themes on it. So yeah, I mean, I'm hyped because that's the song I'm looking forward to the most to play on there.
Yeah, I thought that match was good. I wasn't surprised with the outcome because obviously they're pushing like a big Statlander Willow Stokely thing and having Hart and Sky Blue lose, but Hart's still a TBS champion doesn't really hurt anybody.
The only thing I don't like about this, and it wasn't even match related, it's like future related, is that I do believe that Statlander and Nightingale and then Julia Hart and Sky Blue could be like your 2 pillar tag teams if you wanted to introduce the women's tag titles. But I feel like the Willow and Chris Statlander fucking storyline is going to be already done by the time that happens, and they're going to be split off. And then Statlander's probably going to be heel with Stokely.
You think Statlander goes with Stokely?
Yes, I do. You think Willow's going to go with Stokely? There ain't no fucking way Willow's going to be heel.
Yes, with Stokely as a face. Yes. People like Stokely.
Yeah,
like,
I understand that.
So if Statlander just fucking like, even though he's like trying to help her cheat to win and shit, they still like him, and he's still a face technically. So if she like freaks out on him for something that wasn't actually his fault next time, and like just fucking lays him out or whatever, and you could do a heel turn out.
Oh, okay, so Willow finally feels bad for Stokely because of the one time that he wasn't trying to fucking cheat. Yeah. That's dumb. But I see that happening. Yes, I can see that happening. But yes, no, the main part of it is Statlander will be the one that turns heel. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I was just saying I don't think Stokely would. I think Stokely stays with Willow as a face.
They've already kind of moved her away from the best friends stable anyway. That's one thing I'm really not a huge fan of in AEW so far, is they don't explain away a lot of these people that just leave stables.
Yeah.
Like, they just leave. Like, they're just bouncing. They don't get knocked out. Like, even if you just got kicked out real quick and then had a match on Dynamite or Rampage against that said person and beat them or lost to them, at least we can move on. Like, even in New Japan, they don't do that. Like, people change stables all the time, but that makes sense. You don't just, hey, I'm just not here anymore.
We did just get 2 people officially fired from the Elite, so there you go. Or one suspended and one fired, I guess. Yeah.
They did the same thing with Stu Grayson just magically left. They had Anna Jay.
Everybody knew that was a contract thing.
Anna Jay left.
Yeah, for JS or whatever.
They had damn it, they just had another recent one too that like just bounced.
They did so to be fair, they did do this with the Jericho Appreciation Society. They had a whole fucking segment for it where people were explaining their grievances and then breaking up, right? So I mean they do it sometimes.
Okay, but I can say the same thing right now with the remnants of the Jericho Appreciation Society, that they were all supposed to be fucking hanging out still with each other, and it's Daniel Garcia and Daddy Magic by themselves, while Angelo Parker is all fucking around with Ruby Soho, and they're never together.
Yeah, but that does explain why they're never together.
But I don't view them as a stable, is my point.
You're not supposed to. They're
Jake Hager came out and helped fucking Orange Cassidy. Like, they're all fucking just randomly out in other places.
They look the same. Jake Hager just looks like a big fucking version of Orange Cassidy when you put sunglasses on him. All right.
Mark Quinn shows up, and now fucking Isaiah Cassidy's no longer with the fucking Hardys, and just like, nah, okay, he's back. I'm good.
Yeah. Also,
like what?
Also, y'all have been saying some weird shit on Twitter. And,
well, that's true. Now, see, I think Jeff's is actually storyline wise because they're actually playing the heel role on TV. The Matt Hardy shit is a completely different animal, in my opinion.
He's losing a little bit.
All right, we'll go to Christian Cage and the Patriarchy defeating Daniel Garcia by pinfall to retain the AEW TNT Championship. Of course, Adam Copeland came back on Dynamite and then again on Collision. And I don't know what the fuck was in the box. I don't know what the fuck he had around his eyes. I don't know if he got into Swerve's eyeliner.
What do you mean? So, okay, the eye makeup is because he was wearing a lucha mask at ringside. So he had the eye black around the eye.
Let me tell you Let me tell you. Did you see my tweet about this?
No, but I did see somebody comparing him to the Nightman.
Oh no. See, I said, because somebody said what's in the box, and I was like, it's an evil powered guitar that he's gonna use to take out Scooby and the gang and the Hex Girls, because he looked like a motherfucking, like, because of the way Edge's face is, he literally looks like one of the ghosts from fucking Scooby-Doo, that you're gonna rip this fucking mask off because his face is so weird.
What was the name of that that spiked baseball bat that they used to use in TNA?
Ooh, Abysses?
Yeah.
It wasn't a baseball bat, it was a 2x4, but
whatever it was. Janice.
Yeah, Janice.
So that's what was in the box. So somebody took one of the fans at the show had a much better angle on it than they showed on television, and it was literally like a fucking thing with a bunch of spikes coming out of it, and that's why the back of the box said Spike. That's literally what it was. And Christian Cage, having been in TNA, is familiar with it. So that's the story. He's gonna fucking kill him. Yeah, that's the story.
Anyway, that match was pretty good.
Murder you with a spike board.
Match was pretty good, and they did have me believing that, you know, Garcia might actually win at a couple times in that match because of the report that came out previously that said there was 5 guys that Tony Khan had huge plans for and long-term plans for, and Garcia was one of the names. So I was like, ooh, so maybe he could win right here.
Long-term means he can't win yet. He's got we're in inning 3 of the Daniel Garcia story.
No, that's not what that means. Then we have Eddie Kingston defeating Danielson and getting his hand shook at the match, and the great exclusive with them in the back in the trainer's room. That was cool as fuck. That match was 19 minutes and 45 seconds, and Eddie Kingston keeps the Continental Crown Championship.
That was definitely my favorite match of the night up until I think the Takeshita match, like throughout the whole show. Um, it was like real high up there. Pretty predictable as far as who I thought was gonna win though. Because the thing this is what I hate too, and it's not his fault. Like he can choose to do whatever he wants, but because Danielson will politic to not give himself championships and shit, it kind of makes any championship match that he's in pretty predictable in the sense that you know he's not gonna win. Like obviously Ospreay's gonna beat him, so like and that's not even a championship match, but it's because Ospreay just got there. Danielson feels like, oh, I got to put over people, and I don't want any belts, and I just want to wrestle. I love wrestling, but it does kind of take away from some of the match too when you pretty
Do
much
we
know
not
that
think
he's gonna
that
win.
TK will do the same thing? Like Sting didn't want to win him either. TK said, "I don't give a fuck. You're winning. You're Sting, bro." Like eventually, it might get down to that point where TK's like, "I don't give a fuck, dude. Like you are the best wrestler in the world. You're going to win the fucking title, even if it's a secondary title. Like even if it's the international title or the fucking Continental Crown Championship. You don't understand, but you will actually help the title out by having it around your fucking waist, even if it's for a
Well,
few weeks."
they're gonna give it to Okada first.
I agree. I think they're going to give it to Okada now too. When then
Yeah.
I think Danielson could beat Okada for it
Maybe.
if Omega's still not back yet.
So Omega started streaming on Twitch.
Correct.
And one of the things that he said when asked is that he would love to say that he's got a timetable for when he's coming back, but he legit has like no fucking idea. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a strong possibility that Omega comes back and Danielson's already retired. That might be how long it takes. Like, it's crazy.
Omega's what, already 40, right? So yeah. Coming back doing the Okada match might make sense for him to win and take the belts off of Okada if he's able to be around for a while, but yeah, who knows, man.
I mean, it also could have to do with like, okay, if when Okada loses the Continental Crown Championship, he'll be getting pushed into the world title picture, so it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
Let's talk about the All-Star Scramble match where Wardlow defeated Jericho, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer, Hook, Brian Cage, Magnus, and Dante Martin.
So this is an interesting thought that somebody brought up, and I was like, that would be cool. People have been saying that obviously the whole Wardlow thing is Wardlow as part of the Undisputed Kingdom has basically been being groomed to win the World Heavyweight Championship the same way that Roddy was being groomed to win the Intercontinental, which he did, which we'll talk about in a second.
International,
and
yes.
that and the Kingdom, the tag team, were meant to go win the tag team titles, which they did win the Ring of Honor tag team titles, I believe.
Correct.
So, like, to finish this story, obviously it would make sense for Wardlow to actually win the world title. But then, who has like a real vested interest in coming back and fucking with that match that protects Joe, protects Wardlow, and still gives a reason for Wardlow not to win? And that's if MJF comes back and fucks him over in that match. So that could be an opportunity to see the re-debut of MJF, but we'll see.
Roderick Strong, you just mentioned, defeated Orange Cassidy by pinfall for the AEW International Championship after this match. This match was crazy as fuck too because we got old Roddy. We got backbreaker Roddy. Yes, it was awesome.
So many backbreakers.
I was trying to explain it to Robert.
That one was sick.
I was trying to explain it to Robert. I was like, this is what he does. Like, this is his moveset. It's literally all different forms of backbreakers. It's fucking amazing. Like, they never let him do that in WWE. Like, he'd do a couple in a match, but it wasn't like the entire fucking moveset was backbreakers and just on, like, just focusing on Orange Cassidy's back, which I knew was going to happen as soon as Orange Cassidy took off the jacket and shit and it got the tape on his back. I was like, okay, here we go. This is it. So old Roddy back and winning the title was pretty fucking cool.
Somebody on Twitter said something. It was a joke. They were like, "Oh, I could sell flesh-colored kinesio tape if you guys need it, because everybody targets the area has got the tape all over it. Obviously, that's intentional for visual effects, so the crowd knows, like, oh yeah, they're targeting an injured area or whatever. But I just thought it was funny. Um, the other funny thing too is that one of Hobbs's little catchphrases is "I break backs." I'm like, nah, you need to give that shit to Roddy. So all that man does is fucking backbreakers. His moveset is 80% backbreakers. But no, that was a really good match too. There's some crazy bumps in that one. That turnbuckle backbreaker was sick. But they told that story really well, and it was nice to see Adam Cole come out too. I didn't expect to see him there at all, so that was neat.
The BCC defeating FTR in 21 minutes and 50 seconds by technical submission.
That was a good match.
Were you shocked that FTR lost this match?
No,
No?
because
Do you think that Mox and Claudio are going for the tag titles?
Yes, I think they're going to be in the tournament. I think they're going to go for the tag titles, and I think they might win them. And they probably should. I think it would elevate the division, and it would be a new tag team to hold it.
And it's something new for both of them as well.
Right, because it's not like either of them are going to the world title picture anytime soon with the whole Wardlow, Samoa Joe, Swerve, Hangman, that shit going on. And then Adam Cole after Wardlow. And then MJF whenever he comes back. Like, that whole title picture right now is it's got like a pretty clear trajectory of things that are going on with it. So you got to do something with them. And putting them as like a big brute force, like unstoppable tag team just makes sense. I like it. I also like them coming out in the Legion of Doom shit was pretty funny.
Yeah, I wish they would have did the face paint too, honestly.
Yeah,
I was kind of disappointed. I was like, that's cool as fuck, but I really wish they would have done the face paint too. That would have been cool as fuck. Because not only did they did it because they were in Greensboro, but they also did it because of FTR being the fucking Midnight Express Brainbusters type deal. Yeah. And then that would have been awesome too. Like, they'll be like, okay, motherfuckers, you want to bring it back old school? And then, they beat the shit out of them with like, that would have been cool if they would have went all out for it. But I mean, it was still cool though.
Yeah.
Also, it'd been cool if fucking TK would have got Iron Man or something instead of Wild Thing, and they come out with that because that's what Road Warriors used to come out to, Iron Man by Ozzy or Black Sabbath rather.
Yeah,
that would have been cool as fuck, and that would have thrown everybody off. Because if you could imagine like Iron Man coming on there, and like, huh, what the fuck's going on? And they come out with the fucking face paint and the shoulder pads with the spikes, that would have been sick, dude. That would have been so fucking cool. I feel like
his New Japan theme even would have been a better thematic fit for it. His New Japan theme is very like slow, methodical, but like heavy. Like, yeah, it's. I feel like that would be a good theme for their tag team if they had, instead of them coming out just to Mox's music all the time. But you can't use Claudio's music for a tag team either because it doesn't fit with fucking Moxley at all. So.
Not at all, no. Yeah. All right, Timeless Tony Storm defeated. Deonna Purrazzo to retain the AEW Women's World Championship in 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Like I said, I thought that was a really solid match, good match. Great story going into that match too. Changing a tattoo or adding onto a tattoo for a storyline is, dude, like, it doesn't get any bigger than that. Like you put some fucking, like, you were dedicated to the role. Like, let's fucking
I wondered seeing it if that was like henna around it or something, like that she didn't actually do like a proper real tattoo around it or whatever. But yeah, because that's kind of fucked up if you think about it. Like, oh yeah, we got tattoos together, but for our storyline, because I'm against you, I'm gonna fuck up our real tattoo that we got together.
I was kind of shocked how many people thought Deonna was gonna win.
Yeah,
if you look at everybody's like predictions when they go up on Twitter and everybody has the whole card and they're circling their thing, a lot of Deonna Purrazzo's were circled, and I even commented. I replied to somebody because they said the time-old fucking classic tale, so-and-so doesn't need the title, and they said it Tony Storm. I was like, literally, Tony Storm's entire gimmick is based off of being the fucking champion.
Yeah.
She needs the title. And TK has had no precedent set where any new fucking signee comes in, immediately gets put in the world title match and wins. Ruby Soho didn't do it. Athena didn't do it. Tony Storm didn't do it. Why the hell did you think Deonna Purrazzo would do it?
Cole came in and it was pretty much instantly against Hangman for when he was the world champion, and that didn't happen either. So yeah,
he's never brought somebody automatically in and fucking won a world title ever. Now, Okada could do it with Eddie Kingston, if you want to count if you want to count the Triple Crown title within that, and
Moxley kinda. I mean, his first major feud was against Jericho, and he did win the title off of that. But even that it still took a while to get there. So.
Yeah, because it took like 3 months to get there because that's when they had one pay-per-view every 3 months.
They had every 3 months pay-per-views.
Well, yeah, but you also had 3 months of storyline built up into that too, where Deonna Purrazzo did not have that. But like, yes, none of these previous people did it. They would win matches to get that opportunity. Taya Valkyrie didn't do it. Like, none of them have done it. They all come in and they win whatever, the Casino Battle Royale or number one contenders match or a high profile match, but then they get the chance and they don't win. It's happened every single time. So I don't know why so many people were on the Deonna Purrazzo bandwagon as far as her actually winning the championship from Toni Storm. Not 1% of me thought that she was going to win the match.
I do get the sense that people are getting a little bit burnt out on the timeless gimmick. People around me at the show, people online, they were like, oh, like I just want her to stop being like a character wrestler again and go back to like wrestling for real or whatever. But the problem is when you have somebody that does a character so well, even if you're tired of the character, it still probably makes the most sense to keep them in it.
Like, she's not going to lose. She's going to be in it until Jamie Hayter comes back, so it doesn't matter. This is all going back up to when Jamie Hayter comes back, takes the title off of her, and then either two things are going to happen. It's going to snap her back to reality, or it's going to make her go even fucking crazier and change the character again and have another level to the character.
Yeah, you take away what she uses as her validation, and then she goes into the kind of where she was before she won the title with the same gimmick, where she just feels like an old actress that nobody cares about anymore.
Exactly. That was just the whole fucking premise of this whole fucking character, which I love 100%. I've never not wanted to get more Toni Storm. The fucking the pre-recorded promos on the show, the press scrum fucking shit, like it's all gold to me. Like she hasn't missed. Her laying in the middle of a ring, fucking cutting a promo on Deonna Purrazzo. It's all fucking gold. Like I don't. It's not like they're overexposing her. It's not like she's on Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite doing the same thing over and over. It's basically just Dynamite, and that's it. So I don't really understand why people would be getting burnt out on the character already. It's not when the bell rings, she's still Toni Storm. She still wrestles as Toni Storm. Yeah,
she changes like mannerisms and facials.
Yes, she does like little quirks that go with the character, but her moveset and everything, it's still all the same. She even hit the fucking Storm Zero in the match with Deonna. So I can't agree with that at all. I love it.
Did you see the AEW truck has her picture in black and white?
Does it? That's awesome. That's cool. So, it's so cool, dude. Like when they were doing the in-ring promo and half the screen was black and white and Deonna Purrazzo was in color, I was like, this is fucking great. No, it's never been done before in wrestling, which is very hard to say as well. So this is cool as fuck to me. I'm all for creativity, and you can't get more creative than what they're doing with Timeless Toni Storm's character right there. Like, okay, she goes back to the regular character and goes back to what she's doing, and then people are going to bitch about, hey, you're not giving the women anything. Hey, no women can get over because they were doing the same shit that they were doing in WWE and all this other shit. Like, they're giving you something brand new. She's clearly enjoying it and running with it. Cutting better promos than she's ever cut before. Like, I don't understand. Like, you want to go back and get cake thrown in her face on SmackDown? Like, come on, man. Enjoy it while it lasts. That's what I'm saying.
The other thing, too, with people that thought Purrazzo was going to win is like, why would you think that when there's so many outs for everybody involved, which they used for the record, like with the Mariah May and Luther and all that bullshit. Like, it's not like Deonna Purrazzo is part of like a tag team or has like a bunch of friends who could have helped her with any interference or bullshit like that, right?
Yeah, y'all acted like she came in with like fucking Jordan Grace and Rosemary and shit. Like, who does she have?
And you even gave her the visual win by having Storm tap out with the ref distraction with Luther, right?
Well, they're good at protecting them in that match. They're good at protecting them. They've done that before too.
Right. So I didn't see any way that Purrazzo was going to win. There's just too many ways to protect both of them, and it wasn't time. So.
Ospreay versus Takeshita. We talked a little bit about it because it's so good.
Nothing to really talk about. So
22 minutes even. Ospreay wins. And then
crazy.
I don't get me wrong. I love everybody that's given Ospreay his praise. I don't see anything going to Takeshita though. Two people have to work this match. Yeah. Two people have to be in this match to do this. Takeshita was insane.
Takesha did a really good job with a lot of the like a lot of the fighting spirit spots, stuff like that. Kicking out at one during that one sequence, him taking the move and then getting back up and like he's on his fucking he's about to fucking Hulk back up before he takes a hidden blade and finally loses, that kind of shit. His and his moveset is also like really fucking deep. And he I agree that a lot of people are overlooking his contribution to the match. Like they'll say like, "Oh yeah, like you had two really good wrestlers in there, and like Takesha's so good." But Takesha's not like a good hand. Takesha's Will Ospreay level, and people are kind of overlooking that.
Well, Ospreay, I think Ospreay's a better high flyer. I would say Takesha's like a fucking I won't say prime, but he's Okada to me.
Yeah, he's very, very good.
Like remember when Okada first came in, a lot of people don't remember it because they didn't watch New Japan. He was the heel against Tanahashi.
Okato, and no.
Anyway, he was the heel against Tanahashi when he came to New Japan. He was the young cocky dude. That's what Takeshita is right now.
Right.
He knows he's fucking good. He's putting on bangers, but he's not getting credit for it like Okada was in New Japan with Tanahashi.
I mean, I feel like okay. So here's a question too, and I'm glad that they finally gave him a real song and like real theme music and whatever. So that fucking fart noise. How much of that do you think is just the association with Callis kind of holding him down?
I wouldn't say the association with Callis is holding him down. I feel like it's not like Callis got involved in the match either. You know what I'm saying? So like,
right.
It's not the same as when he got involved with the
Kenny Omega match.
Yeah, the Kenny Omega matches. Yeah, so I think it's actually helping him because Callis can talk for him, etc. But I guess I can't really answer that until I get into a real feud with Takeshita. When Takeshita gets into his first real feud, where it actually involves back and forth on the mic and stuff, and Callis is there talking for Takeshita, if I can say, hey, this is holding him back, or whatever, because this was just a match that, was thrown together because, hey, Don Callis wants to have the two best wrestlers. He's going to show everybody that the Don Callis family is the best stable in the world, and he has the best eye for talent, and aka all this bullshit, right? So something that Bobby Heenan would have never done with his Heenan family, but whatever. And then he does it again with Kyle Fletcher on Dynamite. So, I will say I have to reserve judgment on that to see if he's actually being held back. Because he doesn't wrestle as much because of it. Because remember, he was wrestling every fucking week before. He doesn't wrestle as much, but that could be a good thing too. So we'll see. I don't know. I want to see when he gets in that first real feud that culminates at a pay-per-view or something like that. That's not a fucking blood and guts match or a multi-tag match. It's literally a one-on-one feud with Takeshita and then Don Callis talking for him against somebody, and then we'll see how it goes. Because even the feud with Omega, most of the matches were not one-on-one. It was always Omega and the Young Bucks versus Takeshita and Sammy Guevara and somebody else, shit like that. Like
that last one that was,
yeah. Takeshita kept getting the dubs over Omega, but it wasn't really one-on-one.
The way that I think it hurts him is just, it's not that having somebody talk for him isn't good or whatever. It's more just like, I think him being part of that stable makes it hard for people to see him as like a standout solo like guy in the same way that they see Ospreay, because while Ospreay is also part of that stable, he's got like his own established history to the West, and then also like his own presentation. He comes out without Callis, like he's in the Don Callis family, but like Callis isn't at his fucking hip all the time either. I don't know how you fix that with Takesha not being able to do like promos and stuff.
The problem I see with the Don Callis family is that they should be pushed like BCC was when they formed, and they're not. So like BCC would wrestle every week. They would have a promo every week. They would destroy whoever every week. And yes, Don Callis family wins way more than they lose, but they don't do it often enough as a team to be pushed as a team and to have a legit leader. Like we all know
they
that
don't really seem to have like a purpose.
Yeah,
as a group.
Well, that's because Omega got hurt. It was literally Omega against Omega, and then Omega gets hurt or whatever because it was still going that way with the
Jericho stuff.
With the Jericho stuff, yeah. And then it just bottomed out after that because I think it would have been the Golden Jets beating whoever for the titles, Ricky Starks and Big Bill instead of Sting and Darby, and then feuding with any combination of the Don Callis family, whether that be Hobbs and Takeshita or Takeshita and Ospreay, which would have been insane. Takeshita and Ospreay would have been an insane tag team. Maybe that's where it was going before. Now, I can't say that I hate the idea that fell through, even though I don't want Omega hurt, because I got to see Sting as tag team champion, which I wanted from the jump, and because he got to go out on top like he did. And also Big Bill and Ricky Starks got a longer run with the titles because of it too, so I'm cool with that. But yeah, I think that's where they were going to go with it. But I just don't feel like they're being pushed enough. And it's weird to say because they win all the time. But like
they're not being pushed toward titles
weekly, and weekly too. Yeah. So eventually Don Callis is going to have to come out and say, "Hey, yeah, I got the best talent. Why the fuck don't we have any gold?" And then start going after fucking gold because like what's happening here? I mean, at least Powerhouse Hobbs was in a spot to do that because he was in the scramble match, but he didn't win the match.
Right. And I think that's what is making the Undisputed Kingdom work right now too, is that they have like a clear established goal. They're actually hitting those goals. The people that Cole came out and said, yeah, these guys are going to win these fucking championships are actively doing it. So you are kind of excited to see what happens with the Wardlow thing. Does he also do it? Or is he the one in the fucking group that falls short? If he is it because MJF comes back, or do they lose faith or trust in him if he fucking loses his? Like, there's a lot going on there that you care about. Whereas the Don Callis family is like, yeah, everybody in here is a good wrestler, but what are they working toward? And there's not really anything there.
The beauty of having a deep roster and 3 heel stables at the same time. You got the Bullet Club Gold, you got Undisputed Kingdom, and then you got the Don Callis family all at the same time. And there's only so many titles.
I think the not having real goals thing works with tweener or face stables too, because when you look at BCC, it's not like their goal is really anything beyond like I want to have like good violent matches, but that works with their characters and with their like
they're tweeners too.
Alignment.
Yeah, they go back and forth all the time. Okay, yeah. All right, because like Moxley would be face.
But what I'm saying is that heel stables need goals.
Yeah. Well, Moxley and Claudio are face against pretty much everybody except for FTR and Eddie Kingston. Yeah. And then Danielson is a face against pretty much everybody except for Eddie Kingston when he calls him a bum and all this other shit. Like, people are going for Danielson over Zack Sabre Jr., but then they'll turn around and boo him against Eddie Kingston in the finals of the fucking Continental Classic or whatever, right? So they're perfect examples of tweeners. I'm cool with that. The issue, I think, also is that this stable with the Don Callis family hasn't fully formed yet because of all the backtracking. So you had Sammy Guevara join, but then the shit happened with Omega, so they had to put Guevara back with Jericho. And then, of course, I think because Ospreay's getting cheered like he is, they're going to turn on Ospreay. It'll be Don Callis family versus Ospreay, assuming the role of that Kenny Omega left behind when he got hurt and had to take a step back. And then Ospreay will be in his role against the Don Callis family instead.
Fletcher has to go with Ospreay, right?
That's a great question. I don't know because I don't know when the tag team partner's getting back, Mark Davis, and I don't know how long he's going to have the TV title in Ring of Honor either. So those two things have to fall first, I think, before we decide where he's going to lie.
Did that bother? So this is getting off topic of Revolution slightly, but did it bother you that they had a match with the Ring of Honor TV champion and Ospreay clearly won, but it wasn't for the belt? Or are you just like, well, it wasn't Ring of Honor television, so it doesn't matter? Like,
well, I don't have a problem with it because the way it was explained was the same way it was explained with Takeshita and Ospreay. It's just I'm just showing you how good my guys are, so they're just exhibition matches.
I guess.
Well, just look how good my guys are. So, yeah, I'm not shocked that the title wasn't on the line. Plus, obviously, it was relayed to the audience that they are longtime and good time friends. So, no, Kyle Fletcher is not going to put his fucking title on the line against Ospreay. It's more of Kyle Fletcher is going to test himself against him, just like he did against Kenny Omega in the previous thing when Don Callis was like, no, you're not going to join the group. And then magically he joined the group. So
Fletcher's been having some really good singles matches.
Yeah, no, it was a great match. And he's also the crazier one because he's the one that likes to do the fucking
Am I fucking
hang
dumb,
himself
or
up on the
is-
fucking railing and shit outside.
Did anyone else not realize how tall he is? I felt like when I saw him stand beside Osprey, I didn't realize how tall Fletcher was. I thought he was short. I'm fucking dumb because I had no idea.
Here's
I guess
a
standing beside Davis makes you look smaller.
here's a match. Here's a match that we haven't even talked about at all. That also helps my argument of best pay-per-view from top to bottom in AEW history.
Mojo.
Samoa Joe, the triple threat fucking title match for the world title.
Bro, okay, listen, this is crazy to me. And I don't know if I'm the only one that was thinking this. I must have been in the fucking arena. Hangman comes out and the crowd just starts booing the shit out of him. I'm like, I understand that he's been doing heel stuff, but brother, he's got a fucking reason. Like, he's got a very good reason to be doing heel shit. Why is everybody biting on this fucking on this heel turn?
So yeah, it's a double turn, really. It's really a double turn. It's the first double turn that we've seen since Brett and Austin that's been done successfully. It's clearly Hangman's turning heel and Swerve is getting all the love. I don't know either, because if you look at it, it's kind of like what's the meme? Adulting is when you realize that Macho Man was right the whole time.
Being an adult or whatever, yeah. But yeah, so
like,
well,
even though Macho Man was the one that was come across as a heel and they're all booing him against Hogan, no, he was right. I'm on Macho Man's side.
Was Hogan really trying to fuck around with Elizabeth, or was he just like?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Well,
yes, he was.
I don't know.
Yes, he was. Now, there's no denying that Macho
like
Man
Hogan.
had some paranoia going on, and he probably took some stuff too far. But when it keeps happening, though, happening, bro.
He kind of kept putting himself and her in that position with his behavior, though.
Oh my god. That man was getting his ass kicked 2-on-1 on Saturday Night Main Event while Hogan went to the back to check on his woman because Savage had to stay in there because he was the legal man. So if Hogan was a real man and a real friend, he would have tagged himself in and then told Macho, go check on your girl. No. I got it, Macho. You just get your ass kicked by fucking, who the fuck were they fighting? I don't even remember who the fuck they were fighting. Fucking go to the back and fucking, I'll check on her for you.
It's not Hulk's fault that Macho couldn't make the tag.
Dude, don't start your bullshit up in here. Don't be a Hulk apologist on the show. Don't be a Hulk apologist on the show.
Macho Man can't reach.
I'm about to take your shit off. I'm about to take.
You know, I fucking.
Ryan's gone. Hogan. Ryan is gone from the show right now. They fucking. But yeah, no, I don't understand why. I mean, this dude broke into his house and was fucking around with his kid, his infant child in a crib. Like, no, I understand where you're coming from. I think it's because he's coming off like Bret Hart did when he kept getting quote unquote screwed, and then like he just complains about it over and over. Kind of like when people were turning on Bald from FTR because he said the same shit over and over about, I do this for my kids and my wife and my family, and no one's gonna take this away from me. You know, shit like that. I love Dax. I do, but
yeah.
But yes, it was happening in just like people were turning on Moxley. Oh, Moxley's the best in the world. But now because he bleeds all the time, he bleeds in every match. He does the same thing. Now we're turning on him. It's kind of like that because wrestling fans are just, dumb. Kind of like your Tony Storm thing that you were talking about earlier. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, I'm done with this. What? Huh? It's still good.
Listen, the best part of that match for me is Hangman tapping just so Swerve doesn't win.
No, it was awesome. I told Robert. I legit told Robert. I said, okay, so I'm trying to explain it to Robert. I'm like, dude, he hates him. His whole purpose in this match is so that Swerve doesn't win the fucking title. Right? So I was like, when he attacked the first ref, okay, but when he attacked the second ref and everybody just started losing their shit in the audience, like, whoa my, what the fuck?
I was the only one fucking cheering when
it was great, dude. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And then when he gets put in the thing and he sees Swerve is about to come to try to fucking break it up, and he's like, tap. And I was like, this is so good. It was done very well. We didn't even talk about it. That's how stacked this show was. Really, I think that is really the catalyst that makes my point for me. We weren't even talking about the world title match until just now when we brought it up on the show, going through each match. And I was talking about it being the best from top to bottom pay-per-view that they've ever had. I think that really helps me prove my point. 19 minutes and 40 seconds for a triple threat match that had Really good fucking story inside the match that was utilized very well. Samoa Joe gets to keep the title for another month, so presumably, maybe more, because I do think he's going to drop it to Swerve. And then Page keeps on his track of being quote unquote heel, but Swerve still doesn't get it, so Swerve still has something to fight for too. Like, I'd be okay with them running this fucking match back.
You know, now that I think about it, MJF interfering in the Wardlow with Samoa Joe. I mean, he's got beef with Samoa Joe too.
Yeah, but that would have to happen on Wednesday. You think he's coming back that early? That's big business.
Maybe. Yeah, but it is a big business show. Yeah, you've already got people watching because of Sasha, so you might as well bring back MJF, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
They did bring back Edge.
Well, you can't really bring him back unless he's going to talk afterwards too, though.
I'm sorry, Copeland. They did bring back Copeland on a Wednesday. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's talk about the match that obviously got the most pub coming out of it, and because it's pretty much what the whole pay-per-view was revolved around, which rightfully so, because
bought tickets.
I mean, it's why a lot of people went. Over 16,000 people went. Hopefully they got.
Go ahead.
Hopefully they got a lot of fans to tune in or wanting to tune in for more AEW shows that maybe weren't watching it before because they only went because it was Sting's last match type deal.
The arena. So I will say that there were a lot of people there around me and in line that were clearly WWE fans and saying like weird Cornette shit. I will say that. But it's North Carolina, Sting's last match. So yeah, I think it did definitely attract some people that were not usually AEW fans. There's this one real fucking annoying dude behind me who kept using WWE names for everybody, like thinking it was funny. Like, oh, Dean Ambrose and fucking Claudio or Cesaro.
I actually understand the Claudio thing because a lot of people didn't know who he was before he went to WWE unless you were like us, obviously, that watched Ring of Honor and CZW and stuff. So I get that Claudio one, but the Dean Ambrose one, you're just doing that on purpose. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
He's been there for how many years now? Like, even sometimes I still say Cesaro by accident. But
you know what's funny is
Moxley and Dean Ambrose, come on, man.
The funny thing about the Cesaro thing is that if you watch the party stuff, the Cole Breeze, Xavier, Claudio stuff, even they'll sometimes, if they don't call him Swiss, occasionally one of them will slip up and just say Cesaro. Which is they'll usually get it right, but I've heard them call him Cesaro before.
He was there for a long time. I mean, I get that one better. And also Claudio and Cesaro both start with C. It's it's a little bit more forgivable for me than I'm just gonna call this motherfucker Dean Ambrose, which is nowhere close to John Moxley.
And that's almost literally like what the dude said. I'm gonna call him Dean Ambrose. You're the worst member of the Shield. Like, brother, shut the fuck up. Like, what's wrong with you? So
I think I've gotten to a point where there is no worse member of the Shield.
In ring wise, I feel like
no, in ring wise, I'm just saying overall.
They've all got their strengths, I guess. Yeah.
Well, like if I'm a wrestler coming into the WWE, if you want to call me the worst, if like the worst member of the Shield is like calling
like the worst heavyweight boxing champion of all time. Like, okay, but I was still fucking champion.
Yeah, I know, it's just weird. Like, oh, that's supposed to be an insult. Like, right. I don't think there's by the time they're all done, no one's gonna have more accolades than fucking those three dudes, and they were all in the same group together. It's kind of like when you look at past basketball teams and you're like, holy fuck, all those guys were on the same team. Because they'll go off and have insane careers, like Kevin Durant, for instance. Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook were all on the same team on the Thunder. They didn't win anything on the Thunder. They didn't win any championships. Then they fucking all go to different teams, and James Harden is doing scoring titles for the Rockets and becoming an MVP. Russell Westbrook is becoming season MVP. Kevin Durant went to the Warriors and won 2 championships and fucking become 2-time NBA Finals MVP. And then, like, if you go back and watch a Thunder thing when they were all together, it's kind of like, damn, how the fuck did these guys never win the fucking title? That's how good they all were. Yeah. That's how I view the Shield. Like, you're not going to really appreciate how good they are, like, because of the way that WWE fans view shit. They view it in a box. So they think it's an insult by calling Ambrose or Roman or Rollins, oh, you're the worst member of the Shield. Okay, and That's still better than 90% of your fucking faves.
It does. Okay, I will say that the one person across like all the rosters that really makes me wish that WWE wasn't so fucking stupid about doing cross promotional stuff is Moxley, because he's had the most opportunities with the Roman and Seth stuff in recent history. The Roman and Seth match at I believe it was Royal Rumble when Seth came out to the old Shield music and that kind of shit. Like there have been a few instances where it's like, fuck, like if you could just have him pop up for like a show, that would be really good storytelling. It'd be very interesting storytelling, but they're just so goddamn stubborn about doing it. Because it's not like you'd have to put anybody over to show up in the middle of a fucking match, right? It's just storytelling. Or
even if it was just a distraction. Yeah, it could have been just a distraction.
Literally. Right, and it would work so well. But they're just like, nah, we don't do stuff like that because we're fucking losers. Getting mad at and cutting off Pat McAfee for saying that there was an epic match at a different fucking show.
Yeah.
Because he said it happened last night, and there was WWE didn't have a show last night. Where there might be another wrestling.
Well, see, so here's what I understand from the Pat McAfee, from the Pat McAfee situation side of things, because I love Pat McAfee. I watch his show every weekday after I get done streaming on Twitch. I go over there and watch whatever is left on the show. I love Pat McAfee. I don't understand all the hate for Pat McAfee that he's been getting recently. But the other thing is, it's not just from WWE. I mean, just sports fans in general. You think wrestling fans are bad? Just it's bad everywhere. But anyway, so Pat McAfee.
LeBron is the best.
I understand that Pat McAfee has an obligation on his show to not mention AEW, right? Like he signed with WWE. He's back as a full-time commentator for Raws or whatever for the foreseeable future until college football season again, and then he'll have to take his break or whatever. I understand that. I understand that him and his whole cast are going to be in WWE 2K24, which a lot of wrestling fans are not happy with. So I don't hold it against him to not mention AEW, or to even maybe take the occasional shot at AEW. Now, he won't do it on the show, but like maybe on his Twitter account, you know, like that whole thing with the attendance thing. He had chimed in months and months ago when he was with WWE the first time. I don't really hold that against him. He's trying to be a company dude. He's very good friends with Nick Khan. He's very good friends with The Rock, who's now on the board. So he's very good friends with Michael Cole. That's well established. So he's not going to ruffle feathers. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But to cut this man off, because he's obviously a huge wrestling fan, and Sting is the biggest fucking name that was still in wrestling up to this point, and he just had an insane match, his retirement match, and you already made the decision to have Michael Cole mention Sting on commentary. You couldn't let him just finish that thought before you cut him off. Let's not talk about Sting. It goes to show you how petty they are. And even though Lex Luger and DDP were there, they were not shown on screen, and they were not allowed to be mentioned by AEW that they were there.
We saw him come out.
Yeah, when they were painting between like Magnum TA and Steamboat and all these people, they stopped right after Scotty Riggs. And I assume that DDP and Luger were on the other side of Scotty Riggs. So Luger says it on a podcast, I think it was Busted Open, about, if WWE was first class all the way, the only thing that they didn't want is us to be shown on screen or just to get involved in the match or anything like that. And I'm like, okay, getting involved in the match, I understand. But you tell me that you cannot put WWE Hall of Famer Lex Luger or WWE Hall of Famer DDP at the bottom of their names, or like what? I don't former WCW World Tag Team Champion with Sting, Lex Luger, something like that, because you own WCW anyway, so that still works. Like to be that petty to not have one of Sting's closest friends shown on TV in Lex Luger is asinine to me. I hate that kind of shit. Hate it.
The way that Nash described it when he brought up to WWE, like going there, was that they were worried that AEW would like put them on camera as a way to be like, oh look, even WWE's own like guys, even Triple H's friends come to our shows. And it's like, if they put you on camera at all, that wouldn't be why.
We
It would
all
be to
know why
show
you're
that
there.
Everybody
Yeah, I mean,
respects Sting so much. That's it.
I think they think that the AEW fans are as dumb as the WWE fans. And when I
Yeah.
say that, I mean like the collective whole, not like individuals. Obviously, there's very smart WWE fans. There's very dumb AEW fans. Let's get
Right.
that out of the way. But
Yeah.
but you'd be dumb to think that AEW fans as a whole are not smarter and don't understand why someone is there at the show. This isn't a fucking Highlander situation at TNA. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not showing Kevin Nash and be like, oh man, he must really love AEW. That's why he's here on Sting's last match. He must watch AEW all the time. When he's already gone on record and saying that he doesn't even watch AEW. He's clearly only there.
He also does.
Yeah, I know he does.
Yeah.
But he's also there because of Sting, and we all know that. Like if you're not gonna tell me that if Macho Man was still alive, that if Macho Man wanted to be there, there's no way WWE could fucking tell Macho Man that he can't go.
I'm sure Macho Man would just fucking go.
He would just go. Like,
What
what are
are
you
we gonna
going to do to me exactly?
Yeah,
If you're
right.
Kevin Nash, what are you going to do to me? You think me
Right.
and Triple H aren't still going to be friends after this? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. A Legends deal, really? I'm supposed to care about that?
Well, it might have been. That's the thing too. That the implication is that it was Triple H kind of being like, "No, I don't want you to do that." Is how he made it sound. So
There's
weird.
there's been no precedent set by TK that would say that they are anywhere close. And you know why they're saying no? Is because they know what the fuck they would do.
They would do right.
Exactly,
They
because
would-
there's
they would
nothing
show them
in the history of
crowd and be like,
AEW
"Oh, look."
that has ever said or ever implied that TK would try to spin it like that. Ever.
Yeah, it's petty and it's weird, but it's also just bad for the industry overall to pretend like you are this walled garden that nothing else exists outside of. And
Outside of TNA for the one appearance at Royal Rumble every year,
right,
these doors are closed.
it's very weird.
It's super weird, especially when you see how much people love it when AEW does it with New Japan, CMLL, AAA,
Mm.
Impact. Like, I don't understand, bro. I don't get it.
It's
AEW
like I said,
was built basically off of Forbidden Door because they used the Ring of Honor equipment and setup and everything for the first All In to even have AEW blossom into whatever the fuck it was now.
to me it's like if the fear from WWE is that they show your people in the crowd and try to spin that as, oh look, even people from this other product like our product. Like, first of all, there's zero reason to believe they would do that. But secondly, with the whole thing being around Sting's retirement match, I don't think anybody would have taken it that way.
You don't think it's
Everybody
weird?
would have understood.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about it
they're
later a
gonna
little
fucking
bit,
Sting's
obviously,
retirement.
because
It's so
of Bull
stupid.
Nakano being inducted this year. But you don't think it's weird? Like, you have people like Great Muta and Jushin Thunder Liger in the WWE Hall of Fame, but you're also the company that doesn't want to fucking acknowledge
While
that
they're
anyone
around.
else exists until it benefits you in some way,
Yeah.
because now they're in our Hall of Fame. Muta never wrestled there. Liger had one match in NXT against Tyler Breeze there. Bull Nakano had, 10 matches there. And you're acting like they're in your Hall of Fame because of the way that you brand it and the way that you do everything. It's just... So, I mean, they're constantly being hypocritical towards themselves. And that's why so many people have a problem with WWE, just as a wrestling aspect, not just even the Vince McMahon shit, obviously. But, like, you've always been like this.
Here's a dumb question. And obviously the environment will be different by the time this becomes relevant. But let's say, hypothetically, Kenny Omega retires, right? For whatever reason. Do you think there's a point 5-10 years down the line where they're like, oh yeah, Kenny Omega should be in the WWE Hall of Fame because of his contributions to wrestling overall, even though while he was around, we'd pretended he didn't exist on another product unless we were trying to sign him and then we were throwing fucking millions of dollars at him?
It's okay. He was
Or-
a beast in OVW, right?
Yeah, he was in our developmental system. So
that
of
counts.
course, like, he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. Like,
Yeah, Young
'cause
Bucks too.
that's-
Young Bucks were squashed by Big Show or whatever, right? On
Right.
Velocity and shit. Like, yeah, it's all good. They can be in there too. I don't know,
That's our
man. I don't
boys.
understand it at all. It's so dumb to me.
But it just seems like, okay, you put in Muta, you put in Nakano, you put in Liger. What's the difference between putting in Kenny Omega
There
into
isn't
the
any.
WWE Hall of
I
Fame?
agree that there's not any difference.
Right.
Like,
So-
I fully expect them to have Okada in the WWE Hall of Fame or Tanahashi in the WWE Hall of Fame eventually.
Yeah. It's weird.
Which
then
is,
again,
I mean,
too, like I was saying,
I
like,
don't
by the
understand
time-
why the fuck we're so gung ho about not acting like anybody else exists. And now Michael Cole to his credit, has let up a little bit on commentary, and he does let a little stuff out every now and then ever since Vince left the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's talking about how more comfortable he seems, and he lets stuff fly a little bit more that he probably wouldn't have been able to get away with. But it's still nowhere close to what the fuck it needs to be.
So,
Just like, hey, I got a perfect example for you. During the show, and when you go back and watch Revolution, you'll see what I'm talking about. Everybody was in a fucking either rage or praise about Excalibur calling the Styles Clash when Ospreay did it to Takeshita. Excalibur has always called it the Styles Clash. It's only weird to wrestling fans that are on the WWE side for them to call it the Styles Clash because WWE was always against anybody calling anything that was their fucking move.
well, first of all, it's not his move. It's Michelle McCool's move. So it should be called the McCool Clash.
I don't know what the fuck I don't even know what she used to call it. Because they definitely didn't call it the Styles Clash, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure she didn't. No, it probably had some goofy ass fucking.
But it was so weird. Like, dude, have you never seen an AEW show? Like, there's been other people that use the Styles Clash in AEW, and he's called it the Styles Clash every single time. There is no other name for the move. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got another name. Let's see what she called it.
Oh, I'm sure she called it something else.
The Faith Breaker.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
But then when you click on the link to it, it literally goes to an article called Styles Clash.
But yeah, like it was crazy how many people just assumed that, and then they like took it as a knock on Styles too. And I'm sitting there like, calling it something else would be more of a knock on Styles than calling it by what the fuck he called it.
An inverted belly to back.
Yeah, like
okay. No, we all know what the fuck.
If
it is,
I'm
brother.
Styles watching it and they call it Styles Clash, I'm like, yeah, that's cool as fuck. Like, okay, they're giving me credit. When somebody calls the Canadian Destroyer, you don't see fucking Petey Williams sitting there like, oh, that's fucked up. Why are they calling my shit the Canadian? He's not even Canadian. Or the Panama Sunrise or whatever, the Pittsburgh. Like, they'll do variations, but we all know what it is, and it's still kind of cool. Like, oh yeah, that's the, like, even when Dustin Rhodes does it, they still call it the Canadian Destroyer, the least Canadian person out there. He's from fucking Texas, dude. They don't call it the Texas Roadhouse Destroyer.
What do they call it when Logan Paul does the Buckshot Lariat?
I don't know if they actually call it the Buckshot Lariat. Did they call it that?
I don't think they do. No, I don't think they do. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't know what they call it.
But what do they call it?
The flipping clothesline.
Turnover running lariat.
The flipping clothesline from hell.
I bet it's on Pro Wrestling Wiki. I bet. Hold on.
I honestly don't know. I feel like if they called it something stupid, it would have been all over the internet though. Like we would know what they called it if it was really dumb. Maybe they just don't acknowledge it at all. Or maybe they just call it what it is, a flipping clothesline. Sunset clothesline. I don't fucking know. I mean, basically it's a sunset clothesline, honestly. But you look that up. I'm going to go back to what the fuck we were talking about. Sting and Darby.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, shit. You can tell we've been off for a month, bro. Sting and Darby.
Slingshot Lariat.
Slingshot Lariat. See, I knew they called it something, but it wasn't Buckshot, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Slingshot Lariat. Slingshot Lariat would be like you slingshot and then you just land on your feet. You don't do a flip.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense either.
I don't think any of them have ever shot a slingshot.
Yeah, it doesn't flip.
It doesn't flip. If it does flip, it's that projectile is going straight to the fucking ground.
Maybe fucking you could just if you just throw the slingshot at their face out of your hand and don't even actually slingshot anything.
I bought a slingshot the other day on Temu.
All right, congratulations! I bought some cool shit off of Temu and they all fit.
Bro,
everything fit. It was so weird. I love Temu.
I was so sleep deprived the other night. I was up at like fucking 3 a.m. I was like, you know what, man? I haven't looked at Temu in a minute. And they're like, oh, $200 off coupon if you buy $400 worth of shit. I was like, all right, bet. So stupid.
Love that shit. I was actually shocked. Almost everything I got fit except for one thing was it wasn't that it was actually too long. If you look at the things that says true to size and if it's over 90%, I'm just gonna order my size.
Yeah.
But I got a bunch of like hockey jersey type stuff that was from movies. So I got like the Mighty Ducks one, and I've got the fucking Shoresy one from like the one with the bulldog on it, the spin-off show from goddamn the Canadian fucking show that Letterkenny.
You'll get there.
Letterkenny, yeah. Right. So Letterkenny, but the sleeves on that one are like really fucking long. Well, everything else fits. Like, it's awesome. I love it. But anyway, I love
don't get
Tebow.
clothes from there. I did this time order.
No, I literally did it, and I said if like half of this doesn't fit or more, I'm just never gonna order clothes off of there. It was more of a test run than anything.
I ordered a 3-pack of sleeveless black hoodies for running on the treadmill and boxing and shit. But like, that's the only clothes I've ever gotten from there, and I haven't gotten them yet. So we'll see.
Okay.
I don't know how the fuck we keep getting off topic. All right, go back.
You
to,
said it, not
all right.
me, guy.
Darby Allin, baby.
Sting and Darby with Ric Flair, Garrett Borden, and Sting Jr. defeated Young Bucks by submission in the Tornado Tag Team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This is also Sting's retirement match, obviously 21 minutes and 3 seconds, which obviously I don't even think it felt like 21 minutes. It was awesome. That shit was so cool.
The first few minutes with his sons took up a good 3 to 4-ish before they left. So then it felt like that part was shorter. And then the rest of it, after Darby took his bump, it was probably like another 4 or 5 minutes of just Sting stuff. They did the table spots on the stage, which took a few minutes for Sting to get back in the ring. So a lot of that was just beating on Darby. So yeah, there was a lot of isolation of one person type stuff in it. And
well, that's what a tornado tag is.
Yeah, I understand, but like it was more like, I think that's because it was broken up into like 4.
I'm just saying it flowed so well that it didn't feel like 21 minutes. All right, so the two sons coming out. Okay, so first off, I was like really happy because at first I didn't think they were going to play Seek and Destroy. And I was like, oh no, come on, man, you got to do it for the last match. And then when it finally came on, I was like, yes, let's fucking go. And then, but obviously that was after his two sons came out. So the first Surface Thing, when Surface Thing came out, I was fucked. I was like, huh? And I was like, oh, that's his kid. I was like, that's a kid. He's fucking actually dyed his hair blonde. I was like, this is so cool. And I was like trying to explain it to Robert as it's happening. And then when Crow Sting came out, but it was Wolfpack, it was over for me, dude. I was like, this is so badass. Couple things that a lot of people might not know. One, the Surfer Sting kid, Garrett, he is actually a YouTuber streamer for Destiny. For fucking Destiny, which I was a huge fan of back in the day, Destiny 1, and I was actually wearing my Destiny hat earlier. I was almost wore it on the stream today, but and he does videos and helps out people with raids and missions and stuff. So definitely go check him out. I'm sure his number count has gone up significantly.
Yeah, we got like 7,000 new subscribers
or
followers or whatever.
And the other kid actually had long hair but cut it like before this happened, and then had to wear the wig instead. But he actually did post a picture of him. He did have long hair and could have legit pulled off the Crow Wolfpack Sting. So those are two funny bits of information I got out of that. But they did awesome. They come in, they're doing the Stinger Splash and shit. Obviously they were having the time of their life because you've seen how much they've embraced it after the fact. So that's cool as fuck. But obviously the main topic, because there's always has to be a main topic come out of something that people are going to try to turn negative with the cult of Cornette fans and all this other bullshit, is the Darby spot on the glass. Let's talk about it, because apparently, according to Cornette, Darby is the dumbest motherfucker in wrestling history, even though Cornette is the one that permanently injured himself
that scaffold
from the scaffold match.
Yeah. Falling like 8 feet?
Yeah.
I've fallen off a roof higher than that motherfucker was fine.
He fell at less of a height, okay?
Yeah.
Fucked up his knee and legs or whatever so bad that he was out for a while.
Just nothing.
And he still has issues with it today. But Darby's the dumbest motherfucker ever.
Yeah. Cornette, as always, contributing nothing useful. You know what? One of the irritating.
Oh, he's not the only one though. Like we can throw Raj in that conversation too, because he's the idiot that I think he's the fucking idiot that I quote tweeted.
I think he blocked me because I called him fucking stupid for something. I'm pretty sure
I quote tweeted. I'm pretty sure you actually liked the tweet actually. When I said, because he was like, well, there's no reason for him to be doing this, and I'm saying like, so clearly, oh no, it was Coachman. It was Coach that I quote tweeted as a fucking idiot that doesn't watch the fucking product, trying to act like there was no story or no reason for Darby to do it. And I literally laid out the entire story for him. Like, how do you not understand what the fuck's going on here? They literally been saying for weeks that they're going to leave everything they have out into the match for Sting's last match to make sure that he retires as champion and gets the dub. And that's exactly what the fuck they did. and then you're trying to say that there's no storyline behind it. He just did it because he's a stuntman. Wrong.
Yeah.
Now I'm not disagreeing that he is a stuntman. Clearly, Darby does not give a fuck. But there was a reason for that specific spot. Yes.
In story, yes, there was a reason in story. He said, "I'm going to make sure that your last match. Well, I will kill myself if I have to." Blah blah blah. Like there was a good reason for it in story. It's so dumb, dude. Cornette.
You don't think it's weird that half the fucking audience says there's not enough stories, even though that's bullshit, and then you got like the Dave Meltzer saying, "No, that's not the issue. The issue is actually they have too many stories. You're not even watching the fucking product."
Yeah.
And if I'm coming down on one side, I'd rather have too many stories than not enough.
I would too, because then it gives you the opportunity to pay attention to the ones you care about more.
Exactly. Like, what do they? I've said this on the show how many times? 100 probably. They said from their first press conference, it is a variety show. There is something for someone that's a wrestling fan of any kind on our show. It is literally for everyone because there's always something that you'll like. Now, you might not like everything, but there will be something that you like. That's how it's always been.
They've said that, but they have not had one fucking midget wrestling match.
That's true. They haven't.
Liars.
But I haven't met any fans that are actually fans of small people wrestling.
You know, it's apparently it's really popular in Mexico.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's where we got it from. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
I remember Max Mini back in the day. Remember Max Mini in WWE?
Yeah.
He was cool. The blue and yellow suit with the mask. He was cool as fuck. I like Max Mini.
Yeah. I mean, minis are what they're called in that thing. They're just called the
micro wrestling
division. Mini division.
I mean, yeah, but yeah. I mean, maybe we'll get there one day. You don't know. We'll have a micro division so that people can bitch about having another title in AEW.
I mean, it's not like minis were always people that are. God, I don't think midget's the right word anymore. What's the word?
No. I don't know.
There's a word. Little people, yeah. They're not always those. Like they actually legitimate just be like really short.
Yeah, really short. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
So you could put like Marco Stunt.
That's true.
Him in there.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are you making? It's not like we're making fun of him. You could literally have him.
It's not a joke, but like I'm saying, if you wanted to do like a but no, like it is. The mission statement from the start has always been, it'll be a variety show. It'll have some like sports-based presentation, but there will be shit that's not necessarily sports-based. And people acting like I didn't like this one Darby spot, AEW's Outlaw Mode Show Wrestling, whatever the fuck, after the Takeshita Ospreay match was on the same card, or after the storytelling in the Hangman Swerve Joe stuff. Like, you're fucking insane. Like, what are we doing? You're not gonna make anybody believe that this was a bad show. You're not gonna make anybody believe that this is a bad product when they did 10 million in fucking revenue from gate and pay-per-view sales and merch. Like, it's stupid. People are talking about, oh, Okada's contract is $4.5 million a year for 3. Yeah, they made $10 million off one pay-per-view. They'll be all right. Like, just so dumb. Cornette's issue is that he, aside from just being like he's very much an attention whore. He'll say shit, obviously, that's intentionally inflammatory to get attention and clicks. That's how he makes his money. The problem is that it puts him in a position where he has to keep saying really dumb shit. So at the point where you're trying to legitimately argue that Kenny Omega isn't telling stories in the ring, you're not a serious person anymore.
Well, the other issue is like he's put himself in that position though, right? So he's gotten to the point now where he's shit on everything that's a high spot, to the point where now if the high spot comes, your fans are expecting you to say stupid shit so they can laugh because you've turned into a clown basically.
Right.
You turn into a comedian. And then if you go out of your way to praise that, then you become a hypocrite because of all the previous stunts and stuff that you shit on.
The blanket AEW bad shit is so weird to me from fans, right? Like, because when we say anything about, obviously, I think both of us can agree we're both bigger AEW fans than WWE fans.
Yeah.
But when WWE does something cool, or like they have a good storyline going on, or they have like a really good match, like Gunther's doing something cool in like a match with Sheamus and McIntyre or whatever the fuck, or the Gable stuff, or like some of the, before all this convoluted Rock shit started, some of the
triple threat
that was going on.
The Bloodline stuff, the triple threat Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania last year was amazing.
Yeah.
Charlotte versus Rhea. I don't know if you said that or not, but yeah, Charlotte versus Rhea.
For Charlotte versus Rhea WrestleMania.
Being my fucking top women's match of the year. Yeah, so like, the thing is like, yeah, we don't blanket it. We pick out the stuff, and then of course we'll focus on the shit that we don't like, but we're not saying WWE bad.
Right. Or they're, it's so. If you can't, as a wrestling fan, find something on AEW that you like,
Then you don't like
you're not a
wrestling.
wrestling fan. You're a WWE fan.
Exactly.
You're fucking weird.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just weird as fuck to me.
I mean, that's why I think that's why the term hate watching even started, is because like if you're hate watching AEW, like because that's like the only thing you can say. So if you don't like anything on AEW, then you're just hate watching. Why are you watching it?
Jersey Shore, so I kind of.
There's so many different fucking things that, like, there's nothing on there that you like. Nothing.
Yeah.
Then you're just hate watching. Why are you even watching it? Go watch something else. Like, I don't understand why you would waste your time with it.
And even shit like, I like Dominic. I think Dominic's really entertaining, and that's a thing where they've got a character that's not meant to be likable, who I personally like or whatever. And when I see these weird WWE people, I have never seen them say like a positive thing about any AEW character, about any AEW match. If they do, it's always with this caveat of like, oh yeah, Danielson had a really good match, but he's a WWE guy, so of course he had a good match. Like, what the fuck do you mean?
Well, that's the
What
tribalism.
do you think he did for years before WWE?
The tribalism that annoys me the most, honestly, if we're being real, is like when Mercedes shows up at Big Business next week.
Oh yeah.
She was never that. She was never good anyway.
Never that good. Yeah.
Even though when she left, they said everything, you need to do everything you can to get her back because she's fucking money and she's the best that you had, and why would you let her walk out the door? Now she walks out. She shows up on AEW on Wednesday. Promise you, they do it with everybody. They've done it with everybody. And then if they come back, they're their biggest heroes again. It's fucking weird. Cody, for instance, no one in AEW that's an AEW fan that likes Cody. When he went to WWE, he was like, Cody was never good anyway. You either already didn't like Cody or you did like Cody and you're happy for him.
He's still my favorite mid-carder.
I love Cody. I don't know. I don't understand.
I love Cody too.
Like,
I don't know why. It's just fun to shit on him sometimes.
Yeah,
I really
but it's crazy. Like, I want Cody to win the title over there.
Yeah.
I want him to. Like, I want him to win the world title. But if that was anybody that was doing it from WWE over to AEW, if they won the world title, that ain't nothing. Obviously, he won. He was a WWE guy. What?
Yeah, WWE guy. Yeah. Or they'll talk so much about like, MJF would be so much better off over in WWE, but then if he doesn't sign to WWE, he's in the little leagues. He's not doing serious shit. Like, the whole reason that you're interested in him to begin with is because of what he's doing.
Exactly. Because it's never been a character that was in WWE before. So, like, yes, exactly. You want the AEW guy over there. There's a reason why Shawn Spears coming over is still using the Shawn Spears name. Is still using the exact same gimmick. There's a reason why Cody has the exact same theme music, the exact same fucking character. Everything is the same. Because it worked in AEW.
Cargill too.
Yeah, Cargill too. Because it worked.
I was actually pretty surprised.
The Shawn Spears one?
They didn't. Yeah.
Ty
because
Dillinger,
he had such an established name as Dillinger.
That's what makes me think, by the way, when I saw that and I was like, damn, they let Shawn Spears keep Shawn Spears and fucking the exact same. I was like, if Moxley came back, I do think that there's a good chance he'd be Moxley.
Yeah.
Instead of Ambrose.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah, but I didn't think that at the time. When we talked about it before, I didn't think that. You did. You said I would bring him in as Moxley, and I was like, I don't think there's any chance because he was world champion as Dean Ambrose. Shawn Spears wasn't. I could make that case that Shawn Spears really didn't do anything on the main roster when he was Ty Dillinger. So I could make that case. But seeing that they just let him just have the shit and everything, I was like, maybe they would let him come back in as Moxley.
If they can change fucking Walter to Gunther, and it's still the exact same guy.
Within the same organization. Within the same time.
Yeah.
But they change people's names all the time in NXT too, like 3 and 4 times before they land on something. They're never any good, but yeah. But yeah, I mean,
and he was champion as Walter, obviously. So yeah, I don't know. All that being said, as far as
we went from Pete Dunne to Butch to Pete Dunne, so
yeah. Hopefully we're done changing it up.
Were you surprised that Dave didn't give this 5 stars? I feel like this was a 5-star match too. Or is it something you got to watch again too? You need to watch this again.
Just from watching it in the crowd, I wouldn't have said it was a 5-star match. It had cool moments and stuff, but it was pretty. I don't want to say formulaic because they did have spots that were pretty out there, obviously with the Darby stuff and the stage table spot, things like that. But it wasn't.
How big of a ooh and ah did you give out with the audience when they cut back to Darby's back on the big screen?
I could see his back the whole time.
No,
Everybody
I'm
could,
saying, but
if
when he
you-
first landed, it was the blood didn't start coming out yet, and they went to something else. And when they came back to him, then you start seeing all the blood coming out of his back.
I
And then
was
that's when
watching
all
the
the
screen.
entire audience was like, "Oh shit!" Oh, because you were on that side, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
see his
yeah.
back the whole time. I
Yeah,
saw him start leaking. I took a picture of him on the ground when it started to form. I took another picture of him when it was like bad. Um, so they didn't show this
Because they did the same
on
thing with Osprey with his kidney or whatever when he landed in the fucking turnbuckle on the
on his,
Brainbuster. And
yeah.
then when they went to it,
So
and they're like, "Oh, I can kind of see it forming." Well, when they got that close-up shot of it, and everybody was like, "Oh, my god!"
yes. So everybody on the Osprey bump, everybody knew that it looked bad, but they didn't know that it was gonna have like a visible thing on it. I could see it starting to discolor, but it's obviously not as much of a contrast as the red on white, just being like slightly darker flesh skin, or flesh color. But it was the scrape of it that looked real bad that nobody could really see as close, I guess. But on the Darby thing, I don't know. Again, since I haven't watched it, I was only there in person. I don't know how much they showed of what was happening at ringside. Um, but they legit had people come out with like first aid kits working on him, trying to stop the bleeding on his left side. There were like two dudes that ran through the fucking audience holding kits and went up to go try to stop and stem that bleeding. I think they tried to glue him up. Um, they had two dudes were out there, like the ringside doc, whose name I always forget.
Doc Samson.
Doc
Yeah.
Samson. He was out there. He came from the back, and then two dudes came through the crowd, hopped the barricade with little first aid kits, and were trying to patch him up some. Um, and I know because I did watch this on YouTube later when Sting is doing his post show, whatever the fuck, and he calls Tony Khan out. And Tony Khan comes out and walks by the broken glass and chairs and stuff, and you see him look down at it and go like this or whatever. They don't show it on camera, but he's not talking about the glass. There's a giant fucking puddle of blood where Darby was laying for that like 5 minutes, and it looks like that's what he was looking at like that. It wasn't just like the broken glass and chairs. Um, so off camera, they definitely had multiple people working on him over the course of those minutes while he was just like laying. We knew he was fine, or I knew he was fine. I think we as the crowd, I think, knew he was fine. Because after he takes the bump, he does get up for a little bit and then lays back down after selling the back pain. So we knew like he wasn't dead or anything. But also because when they rushed out to check on him, they weren't acting like, oh, he's like out or like not responsive. They were acting like, oh fuck, he's bleeding a lot. But no, it was a crazy spot. I think everybody kind of went, "Fuck, what the fuck are you doing?" When he went up there, I thought for sure that to soften that bump, when I saw Matt run up to Nick, that they were both going to catch him and fall backwards on the glass, since they were wearing vests or whatever. Like it wouldn't have been that bad. No, that motherfucker just took it straight on.
Did you get any of the glass from Sting's spot? Did you run down there and get any of that glass that shot into the crowd? Now, there's a lot of people taking it home. There's a lot of people taking shards of glass home or whatever.
I didn't want to go around the bowl and then down to the floor thing or whatever. I was in the section not floor, but the one right above floor.
Two other things coming out of that pay-per-view before we move on to our other stuff. I probably will take a break because I need to use the bathroom anyway. Before we get into the rest of the stuff, but let's wrap it up with this. Two other things that people were bitching about coming out of the pay-per-view were the glass spot where Sting, because it shot out into the crowd, which obviously they show every show.
The warning
Sign. It's no different from a hockey game or a baseball game or a basketball game. Like, if you're that close to the action, you need to be fucking aware of what the hell's going on around you.
The funny thing is that the angle that they show to show, oh my god, it hit fans. Both those dudes in the front were already turned to the side. They knew it was fucking coming.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
Yeah.
And security will tell them too if they're standing out there like, hey guys, watch out, this spot. Whatever. So
yeah. So because of Papa Buck getting cut by the glass on his cheek, who was down there, I guess that's why it really took off or whatever. There's a lot of people that were down there in their corner that none of them had a problem with it. It's all the people that weren't there that had a problem with this, by the way.
nobody down there was like, oh, I'm fucking hurt.
Like,
no,
come on,
they were
man.
all trying to pick it up underneath the fucking rail.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? Exactly. Like, Sting is fucking 200 and something pounds and going through the same glass that Darby just went through. Like, it's going places.
Worst case scenario, like you could have hit somebody in the eye or whatever, and that's true. But again, there are disclaimers that say blah blah blah, and the security had clearly told the people that that angle was being filmed at, that glass is about to break. You guys need to turn away or whatever, because they were turned away. So.
Well, the other issue that a lot of people were bitching about that also didn't make any sense coming out of the pay-per-view, because they don't understand how pay-per-view time constraints work, is that they cut off Sting's they cut off Sting's speech. I don't want to go to YouTube and watch it for free. I want to. Don't cut off Sting. How could you cut off Sting on his last match? Here's the deal, guys. People still order pay-per-views through DirecTV and Dish and shit like that, so it's still available, and they have time constraints that the AEW has to fucking adhere to. It's always been like that. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about right here? Go to YouTube and watch the rest of it. Go watch a fan video of the rest of it. It's not that serious. This is not a new thing. And if you, quote unquote, survived the Attitude Era, you would fucking know that. Because there's been plenty of pay-per-views that got cut off. Plenty. So I don't understand where this fucking notion came off like Tony Khan did it on purpose. Like, oh yeah, Tony Khan just wanted to cut Sting off and cut the fucking feed off. Tony Khan doesn't get to decide when the feed... Hey, nah, fuck the pay-per-view companies. We're going to keep this fucking feed going. That's not how that works. He has no control of the pay-per-view feed. He has control of his cameras, and they did not cut off the cameras, which is why you got to see it on YouTube.
Also, if you want to blame somebody for that, Sting is not his fault, obviously, but it's not like he had a prepared speech.
Correct. He probably didn't know what the fuck to say, and he also just went through a goddamn glass pane and match, 20-minute match at 64 years old.
At 64, yes. He's gonna miss some time cues. That's why Darby had to keep going up to him like, "Hey, they're telling us."
Sting has never been in this spot in how many years?
Yeah, and if ever, like he did a lot of promos in his day.
Yeah,
except for TNA. The man came out and said it's Showtime a couple times. But yeah, it's so that's such a weird complaint to me because it's such an easy fix. It's like, oh, you cut him off on the blah. Yeah, okay, just go watch it. Go watch it online. And if it ever gets on a streaming service, I guarantee you they'll tack it onto the end of it if you want to go watch it.
Yeah, they're not going to cut it off
seamlessly.
If they ever make a streaming deal with HBO Max, I assure you they're not going to cut it off. They'll just add it to the end.
My favorite fucking thing was WWE people being like, it's so disrespectful to his legacy to cut him off. Like, you know what was disrespectful to his fucking legacy? His WWE run.
I know what was disrespectful to his legacy. As soon as he lost to Triple H at WrestleMania, that was disrespectful to his legacy. Like, which is one of the dumbest ideas ever. One of the dumbest match outcomes in WWE history, honestly. Like, I'm rating it in top 3 just because I'm not thinking about the other ones right now, but top 3, it's in the top 3. Sting losing to Triple H at WrestleMania made absolutely no sense. None. It was terrible. All right, so that's going to be that for the AEW Revolution review. Almost 2 hours, bro. You can't tell me that wasn't the best pay-per-view. I think that's our longest review of all time. It's the best pay-per-view.
I mean, I was also there, so
yeah, hype to that you got to go. But I mean, even Forbidden Door, both of them combined probably weren't fucking an hour and 48 minutes. It was fucking awesome though, and I know Ryan is also excited that he doesn't have to go to Japan this year for Forbidden Door 3 because you said it was announced to be at where? Arthur Ashe,
New York, which Arthur is good because not international travel, and I can probably convince my Toronto girl to come down to New York because it's a very short trip. So we'll see what happens.
Like, hey, you remember that other show?
Yeah, you remember the other show you didn't come to me with, but I saw you while I was there.
Yeah.
She had to work on Monday, so she didn't come to the Sunday show, obviously.
Speaking of AEW shows, when we get back from this side of the break, after I use the bathroom right quick, we're going to talk about AEW Dynasty, which was announced during Revolution.
Yeah, I might have to go to that too.
We'll talk about, that's in April, obviously. We'll talk about Okada joining AEW and the Elite, and we'll talk about Big Business on Wednesday. And some WWE stuff, believe it or not. So we'll talk about Hall of Fame, obviously, and WrestleMania 40 on the other side of this break. Enjoy it. Take a few. I don't know how many minutes, but take a few.
Yeah, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, I've been good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm not gonna make another coffee. That fucking coffee maker takes forever, even with the pod thing. Should get a faster one. My hotel one was quick as fuck. I should find out what they had. Alright.
Hello, I'm RJ City, and you are listening to the MonsterCast. You're going to talk about Bela Lugosi. They're going to talk about Lon Chaney Jr. be so sad, holding his hat, saying, "Please put me in this room and don't unlock the door." And you can't do any better than the Doll Brothers. Jack and Ryan, they're brothers, but they're also bros. What? Pardon? Wrestling. Well, who the hell wants to talk about wrestling? These are horror movies. It's a deep genre. It's a smart genre. Fantastic actors. Fantastic cinematography. Wrestling is just sweating and fireworks and bouncy ropes. There's nothing. How do you talk about that every week? All right. Let's see them try. Take it away, you crazy dolls.
You.
Jesus fuck my fucking ass. What the fuck? Please shut up.
No. Like that. Master Watto is a
shut
champion.
up.
You're gonna put some
Stop
respect on his
fucking
name
saying
now.
Master Watto on this fucking show.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Co-Champion.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful here. You're watching the MonsterCast with Jack and Ryan. A big shout out to those fellas. Good people. Check them out.
Oh my god, what is this?
It
Who
looks
is
like a
making
TV.
the New Japan titles? They need to stop making
It's like
titles.
a TV, bro. They took it too literally. That's the problem.
They should have just turned it into a TV. I would have been more impressed.
That would have been cooler.
Put some
Make
antennas
it-
on the top.
No, just make it like a digital title. Like you could display whatever you want on the
Oh,
digital.
like an
title.
LCD screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then have
That'd be
the
sick as
picture
fuck.
of the person that's the champ. That'd be so good.
Oh fuck.
That'd be worth it.
Wrestling podcast. How fucking original.
Jake and Brian. Brandon Cutler here from AEW, and I hope you guys have an awesome podcast with the MonsterCast. What was that? Your name is Jack and Ryan? Shut up, Jack and Ryan.
Tell me who you would sign first.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
No, not overall, genius. Between the two goddamn examples I'm about to give you.
Master Watto.
Killer Cross or Dominic Dijakovic, who are you signing first?
Killer Cross. 100%.
What the fuck?
Absolutely.
Wrong! That answer is
would.
wrong!
I would.
Oh
Killer
my god.
You don't know shit! Your opinions suck!
I guess I should. I mean, you're welcome.
Fuck,
See,
I'll boo it.
but I don't think I've ever said boo.
I will.
That's so stupid.
I'll do it. Boo! Boo! You can't. Don't actually say the word because that's why it sounds weird. You gotta. It's like more like a note. Boo! You don't fucking actually say boo. Boo! 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 You don't turn it into a fucking chant. You actually have to.
I will. I'm gonna do that at Forbidden Door.
You start a boo chant. Boo! 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 Boo!
Here's your host of the MonsterCast, the Straight Edge Monster Jack and Ryan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the MonsterCast. I'm the Straight Edge Monster Jack. That's Ryan Rockwell. Before we get into Dynasty from AEW, I do have 3 new figures, AEW figures, that I want to show off that I haven't been able to show. I hear you, Owen Wilson. All right, so this is Tony Storm or Mariah May, depending on who you are. This is literally in the red and black gear that she was rocking on the pay-per-view. So yeah, this is her first AEW figure from Series 14 that I found at Target. Love that one. Speaking of Series 14 and first figures, Keith Lee. Got Keith Lee over here as well, which is awesome.
Hey, good for him.
And then, of course, the one that I fucking totally forgot that I pre-ordered. It finally came. This is the 1 of 1,000 Jamie Hayter UK figure that they had brought out for All In that she was not able to attend because she got hurt.
Yo, Yo, Macho Manny, what's up, brother?
Not Macho Manny. Macho Manny? No fucking
Nah,
way.
we didn't disappear. So we had to take a couple weeks off, and then I was at Revolution, so we didn't do a show last week as well. So we missed a few weeks. Look at that. Look at that hater figure. Actually, that's the one that says 1 out of whatever that I was like, or is it actually 1 out of whatever?
The 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah.
Out of
That's exactly
1,000.
one.
Hold on. Why is this being? There we go. Wow, bro, I thought y'all disappeared off the face of the planet. It's Macho Manny from Twitch. Good to see y'all again. What's up, guys? Nice. How was it? Ryan was there, so Ryan, you can go ahead. I mean, it's an A+ for me, but for somebody that was actually in the arena, go ahead.
It was a really good show. Good crowd energy. Actually, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse, like getting in and out as far as like parking and all that shit. Even that was pretty chill. Had a good time. It was a really good show. I still haven't watched the televised version yet, so I don't know what it looked like to everybody else yet. But I had a good time while I was there. It's a good show. I went to both Forbidden Doors and I went to that one, and I would say that it was probably the best card that I've seen in person for sure.
It'll be interesting to see because we still got a long way to go to see Monster Awards 6th annual Monster Awards this year to see if this actually holds up and becomes my best pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah.
You got a lot of stuff coming out. You got All In 2 coming out at Wembley. You got Forbidden Door 3. It's going to have some strong competition, but this one is going to be up there in the conversation for sure.
Dynasty,
yeah, let's talk about
Danielson already.
Dynasty is already announced. Ospreay versus Danielson out the gate, dude. Like, that's insane. So we got Dynasty coming up on April 21st in St. Louis. Some think that the AEW Dynasty name is a sign of MJF's old stable when he was with Richard Holiday and Alexander Hammerstone. Do you also think that, or you think it's just a coincidence?
When asked about the name at the press conference, Tony's reasons for it made enough sense that
because he's building a dynasty based off of free agency.
Younger guys, yeah.
How do y'all feel about Jim Corney's comments towards Darby Allin? We just talked about that, actually. Before our break, we talked about that. You can guess how we felt about it.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette's an idiot.
Yeah.
But hey, that's to be expected.
Glorified stuntman because he did a move. Nobody fucking called Mick Foley that when he got thrown off the LNSL, did they?
Nope.
Well, actually, you know what? He probably did. but you should take that as seriously as you would if somebody said it about Mick Foley at the time, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird that everybody loves Mick Foley and always remembers that spot, but Darby does it, and everybody hates Darby now, and that spot's unsafe, huh?
And didn't Shane McMahon do an elbow drop through an announce table off the top of the cage where somebody just completely moved and he missed? Like, is it the glass?
Not even a trained wrestler. Not even a trained wrestler.
Not even a wrestler. But he's got real dangerous punches in his brain. So stupid.
Can't even do a leapfrog over somebody without fucking up both of his legs.
That was, well, we just need Snoop Dogg at every show to. If Snoop Dogg had come out to save Sting.
All right, so Dynasty, right? Okay. So Dynasty has Ospreay versus Danielson. Okay, we already know that. There's a good chance it's going to be Joe versus Swerve, or maybe Joe versus Swerve versus Hangman again, possibly. I'm okay with them running it back. I know a lot of people probably would have an issue with that. You got Okada signs with AEW on Dynamite and joins the Elite by turning on Eddie Kingston. Is it safe to say that the OG feeling, like the feeling is restored, quote unquote, that everybody's been using for AEW, is that back for you? Was it ever gone for you?
It was never gone. I've never felt like AEW was like on a downswing or anything. Even if there were a couple of things that I wasn't super into, like I didn't like the Jay White MJF stuff because I thought it made Jay White look bad.
I think this is more referring to the Punk era than anything else.
Yeah, I didn't even mind the Punk era because he was mostly in his own little isolated Collision world where they gave him his own little belt to play with and he could pretend he was a champion.
I still would have liked to see how that played out because I think it would have been MJF versus Punk, obviously, again, to unify the two titles, but obviously we're never going to get that.
there's always something on the show that I'm into, so I was never like, oh, like the show's bad now or feeling is gone or whatever. I'm always excited to watch it. Um, so no, that whole thing, I get this, or whatever, but it's not one that I relate to at all.
All right. So let's talk about Dynasty, Big Business. Let's talk about all of it. Let's talk about if you were TK, actually. If you're Tony Khan, and we've done this many times because, it's an opinion-based show, basically.
Because we've all played EWR.
EWR, TEW, all of it. Pro Wrestling Sim, which is what I'm currently into right now. If you're TK, you just signed Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes right out the gate of 2024. What are you doing to make sure that they have the most impactful impact, for lack of a better word,
send them to Impact.
Impactful statement for AEW to make them, to the casual wrestling fans, hey, they're here because they're going to fucking be major players in our company. Like, what would you do? You like what Okada's doing? Comes in, immediately turns heel, surprises everybody, joins up with the Elite, and now is going after the Triple Crown of Eddie Kingston. What would you do with Ospreay?
Crown. Like, you have to do that.
He has to win it, yes, right?
Thing.
Yeah, for sure. I said the same thing on Twitter. He has to win.
And I doubt Kingston has a problem being like, okay, yeah.
I doubt Kingston has an issue losing to Okada. Yes,
Okada, right?
He would have been fine losing to Danielson at fucking Revolution, honestly. All right, what about Mercedes though? That's a little bit more tricky because Julia Hart is the TBS champion. The world champion is Tony Storm, and you're obviously waiting for Hayter to come back. Possibly, that it seems like that is a natural fit already for that storyline because that's the only thing that makes sense. So do you wait for Hayter to come back, take it off of her, and then have Mercedes go after Hayter?
Well,
or do you have Mercedes be the one to take Hayter's spot because Hayter might not be back when you want her to be back, and then just wait for the Hayter resurrection to be happening at All In this year, as far as obtaining the title again?
It's not like giving Mercedes a secondary title would hurt her at all. It's not like she hasn't had one before. She was intended to win the New Japan Strong Women's tournament too before she got injured, and Willow ended up doing the Audible. So to have her come in, it seems like they're setting up for like a Deeb match to start.
Correct. That's what I thought too, yes. She's been dropping the hints, yes.
And then after that, she could just challenge straight up for the... See, the thing is, it doesn't really fit with her character to say, I'm going to go for the undercard belt if I'm the boss and I'm the best. So it would have to be something where Tony sets it up. But then, are you leapfrogging the Statlander, Willow, Julia Hart stuff by inserting Mercedes into that in the same way that you would by inserting her into the obvious Hayter return, Tony Storm stuff? So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. And also, we just talked about, like an hour ago, we just talked about how TK doesn't really have people come in and just instantly take world titles usually.
But this is higher. This is higher than Deonna Purrazzo, Athena, even Tony Storm when she came in. Taya Valkyrie. Yeah. This would be the one exception to the rule, would it not?
Okay.
Also base this off of where the world champion is currently as well. You get what I'm saying? Like, this isn't Britt Baker having the title for fucking 8 months or whatever that you're coming in and you're just going to take the title off of her, if that makes sense. It's Toni Storm playing a character and she's already had a really good run with it. So if you're going to have Mercedes in the Jamie Hayter spot, then yes, it makes 100% sense to have her take the title off of Tony, in my opinion.
Yeah, guess.
But like I said, it depends on what this timeline is with Hayter's return. The other thing you don't want to do is have Hayter come in and take it right out to Tony and then have Hayter turn right around and lose it to fucking Mercedes. Unless it's because Tony cost her the title so that they can continue their feud without the title.
Yeah. Mercedes is tricky, and I feel like I'm too biased to answer it because I'm not like the biggest Mercedes fan. So I understand that she's a big deal to Tony, and she's a big deal as a signing, and she's a big deal to a lot of fans. But I personally am not like, oh yeah, like strap the fucking rocket to her or anything. If they can resolve the Statlander TBS title, Julia Hart stuff in a clean way first, I think that after the Deeb feud, that's where you put Mercedes. But you can't have it. You can't have Mercedes be the one to do that challenge. You have to have TK set it up as like, because again, it doesn't fit with her character to go for a lower title. So it would have to be TK sets up that match and then she just wins it.
Be interesting if they set up the thing where, like we were talking about earlier, with Statlander possibly turning heel and Willow staying with Stokely, and Willow needs the tag team partner, and that becomes Mercedes because of their past together, that they respect each other from the New Japan Strong tournament or whatever final, and then they go after like a Sky Blue and Chris Statlander, and then that's the stepping stone after they beat them to go after Julia Hart one-on-one for the TPS title. That could work too.
Yeah, or you could do it like Willow having beat Mercedes before after Mercedes.
Or if you don't want to turn Statlander heel, you could always do the injury angle.
Yeah.
Where they take her out and then Willow's 2-on-1, doesn't have a partner, and then that's when Mercedes steps up to be her partner.
Sure. I think the natural storytelling thing with Willow though is, Willow, you beat me for the New Japan Strong Women's title and I want my fucking match back. So you do that after either Willow gets the TBS title or after Mercedes does, but there are ways to do that where you make the callback to that and give Mercedes back the win.
What do you think? Okay, so
anyway.
if you're TK, you're clearly turning Mercedes heel, but what do you think what they actually do? Because she's going to be face night one because it's in Boston, right? And it's because it's a big deal. They're going to cheer the fuck out of her.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you debut her in her hometown if you're not planning on her being a face.
Yeah, she's gonna have to be a face. At least night one, she's gonna have to be a face. Here's the deal: you got fucking Ospreay comes in as heel, but he's getting cheered as babyface. He's with the Don Callis family, but he's getting cheered. Okada comes in as everybody's fucking cheering him, and he immediately turns heel. So what the fuck are they gonna do with Mercedes is the question.
The reason that the Okada one is going to work is because he's with two people that are very easy to hate right now because of their character work.
Yeah. Well, they hated him immediately as soon as he took out Kingston, too. That helps, too. Taking out Kingston, you're going to get booed.
Yeah. So as long as and the reason that Ospreay being with Callis alone doesn't make him a heel is because he hasn't done any heel shit. So Mercedes would have to do some real heel shit. Who do you do that? Willow is really loved. Riho is really loved.
Sheeta. But she's going against Deeb, and Deeb is coming off like a heel already. So if that's their first thing, then clearly I think she's going to turn out to be face at the beginning as well. All right, so
they probably have Deeb come out and do like the open challenge thing, get a win over somebody, and then Mercedes comes out afterward, and they have a match right there, or I don't know. You probably don't have her answer the open challenge and have a match on her first appearance, I guess. You have her come out and cut a promo. I don't know. That's weird.
Well, the thing is like, okay, so Riho beat Chris Statlander, and now Riho's going to be fighting against Willow Nightingale at Big Business. So do we think there's something where like Julia Hart and Sky Blue attack Willow after the match, and that's when Mercedes debuts? They could do that.
No.
You sure?
Because it just doesn't make any sense to me.
All right,
we'll see, but it just I don't think that's where it fits in.
Because let's talk about Big Business for a little bit anyway. AEW World Championship is going to be on the line between Samoa Joe and Wardlow, because obviously Wardlow won at Revolution.
Yeah.
Then you got Eddie Kingston, Penta, and Pac are going to go against Okada and the Young Bucks, which is going to be insane. You got Darby versus Jay White, and possibly Darby's last match, because we don't know how the fuck Mount Everest is going to go.
He's been training for a few months. He should be okay.
Willow Nightingale versus Riho, and then Jericho and Hook versus the Gates of Agony. It's basically a fucking mini pay-per-view, where I would say Chris Jericho and Hook versus the Gates of Agony would be the 0-hour show match, right? So everything else is like a main fucking card match. It's insane, with a title on the line, obviously with the World Championship in the main event. And of course, obviously the surrounding Mercedes talk, because it's all there. She's going to be there, but we just don't know how the hell she's going to be introduced, or if it's going to be at the beginning of the show, at the end of the show, during the Willow, or right after the Willow match, etc. By helping someone. This could be like one of the best episodes of Dynamite that we ever get. It's gonna be very hard to turn her heel. I'm just gonna say night one she's not gonna be heel for sure. There's not gonna be a thing where Okada comes out, gets cheered real quick, and then turns heel once in a while. Because they're in Boston. There's no way they're gonna cheer whatever she does, and you don't really want her being cheered for doing a heel move on Willow. So I don't think that's gonna happen.
Right. I think the Deeb thing makes more sense to intro her. The thing is, your question kind of makes it sound like he has to do something like immediately with it, and he doesn't really have to. She's a big enough name. You can let it.
She
sit
has to
for
do
2 weeks.
something to. I mean, she can't just. Well, I don't want a fucking CM Punk situation at Survivor Series where he just comes out to the fucking stage and pointing and stuff, and then it cuts off. If she's gonna show up after everybody's been waiting this whole time, she better either talk or she better be fucking doing her move to somebody.
It'll probably be a promo. I just think you set it up with so Deeb used to do that open challenge thing. I think that's the best way to set it up because Deeb's already been dropping hints about it, so I think that makes the most sense.
Card is already
The
stacked.
thing is
though.
too, unlike
Card
with
is stacked. It's only 2 hours with commercials.
Mercedes is also somebody that to the American audience, you don't really need to sell the way that you would like. So if there's an American AEW audience that isn't familiar with New Japan, it makes sense obviously that they've never seen any of Okada's work and have only seen Ospreay to the extent that he's been in some AEW stuff like Forbidden Door or whatever. They don't necessarily watch New Japan. They're not familiar with his history. They just know him as like a good wrestler. But if there's an American audience for AEW that doesn't watch New Japan, you would assume that those people are already familiar with Mercedes. So you don't necessarily have to do the same like big impact thing. Her being there alone will be enough.
All right, let's shift over to some WWE stuff to end the show.
Always ending on the highest of note.
Right, WrestleMania 40 is taking shape. They are doing a callback to WrestleMania 1, which I like. Let's get that out the way. I do like the tag match. I'm a fan of the tag match. Because the WrestleMania 1, and this is the 40th anniversary of Hulkamania and all that other shit that they're doing, and the 40th anniversary, obviously, of WrestleMania number 1. The main event was obviously Mr. T and Hogan versus Piper and Paul Orndorff. I'm 100% okay with Night 1 having a tag match as the main event with The Rock and Reigns versus Cody and Rollins.
Is The Rock the Mr. T?
Yeah, he is. Literally, he is. Like, what kind of dumbass question is that? Yes, he is.
Well, because Mr. T didn't have like a long history of wrestling before that.
Cody is Hogan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
Rollins is probably Piper.
Piper?
Yeah. And then Reigns would be Orndorff because he just stands around looking pretty. Rollins versus Drew McIntyre and Cody versus Roman on night 2. Obviously, the Cody and Roman thing has implications from night 1, depending on who wins. Io versus Bayley, Rhea versus Becky, Gunther versus TBA, and probably Jimmy versus Jey Uso. What are your hype levels going into WrestleMania on a scale of 1 to 10 based off of what's been rumored and announced so far? It's not the worst card, right? If you think about it.
No, it's not bad. It's like a 5
They have a
or
lot
6.
left to fill out, especially for night 1, though, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's probably like a 5 or a 6 right now. Like I'll watch it, but I'm not like, oh, I have to see what happens, because if you're doing a tag match on the first night and then you're doing the singles match on the second night with Reigns, you don't have Reigns lose 2 nights in a row. That doesn't make any sense. So you kind of already know how the tag match is going to pan out, and then it's just okay. Well,
does Rock help him or not?
Yeah. Is Rollins losing that match going to make him mad enough to interfere? Is Rock going to do something in like that? You're really watching it for what happens on night 2, because night 1's a little bit predictable.
Well, there's no way that it's not Rock pinning fucking Rollins night 1, right? You can't give away Cody or Roman getting pinned 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, right. Or Rock getting pinned and Reigns being pissed about it.
Or Rock getting pinned and Rock being mad about it because Reigns didn't fucking
help him.
Yeah. It'd be crazy if Rock ate a pin.
10 fucking years.
Could you imagine Cody pinning The Rock and Roman back-to-back nights? That'd be crazy. I can see that happening, I guess.
That is a story finisher, I guess.
Yeah.
Very ham-fisted and shoehorned in, but yeah, sure.
I wanted it shoehorned in last year, and we didn't get that, though. So, like, I'm okay with that.
Does The Rock's ego let him take a pin?
From Cody.
I
don't know.
There's a question.
My level is actually probably a little bit higher. I would go 6 or 7 for me right now. I got to see the undercard, though, because last year's undercard was very underwhelming. I was so pissed about last year with the showcase matches and all that dumb shit. So I got to see what they're... But, like, the shit that's been announced, though, and then Gunther's going to have a match, so that's cool. And then Jimmy versus Jay, which we've been building up for a while now. I'm okay with seeing that match, especially if nothing's on the line really. Besides, it's just Jimmy versus Jay. Yeah, I'm gonna say 6 or 7.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like a bad show or anything. It's just so much of it is dependent on pretty predictable stuff from night one that I'm like, okay, whatever. Unless Dean Ambrose shows up, as some fucking idiot on TikTok made a whole video about.
You
These
watched
people
it,
are so
though.
fucking delusional.
You watched it.
It's like it's weird. Well, no, I watched it on Twitter. I'm not giving that motherfucker any likes or views. No, so he made like a whole slideshow talking about like, oh, what if this and then Dean Ambrose comes back? Like, he's not retired. He's in another fucking company. He can't. He's got like a 10-year contract. Like, nah, he's not coming back, buddy.
All right. So
Good for
6 or
your
7 for me,
imagination,
5 or 6 for Ryan. Hype levels for WWE WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Let's move over to another part of WrestleMania weekend, and that is the Hall of Fame. The WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024 have announced 3 entrants already. I don't know if they're going to announce more because we've had this report before on the show that Triple H doesn't really like a shit ton of people going into the Hall of Fame, so he's trying to keep it low numbers. This year it's been Paul Heyman, Bull Nakano, and US Express have been announced, and they were all announced fairly quickly, like days apart, so it wasn't like we're waiting each week on Raw to figure out who the next person of the class is or whatever. So I like that too. That was cool that they were all just coming out one after another, being announced by different outlets. Obviously I'm rocking the Bull Nakano shirt, like I said at the beginning of the show. Super fucking happy for Bull Nakano. Like, Shayna, our sister, used to make fun of me because I used to fucking just bring up Bull Nakano all the time. Like, Bull Nakano, Bull Nakano, Bull Nakano. I'm basically like the Sam Roberts, like just bringing up Bull Nakano. If you ever watch their Ultimate show with the other guys from the Bump and shit, where they do the Ultimate show, he has to put Bull Nakano in every show. That's me. People need to put respect on Bull Nakano's name, and she's finally
like
getting it.
me with Master Wato. He also deserves respect.
Mine makes sense. So
does mine.
No, it doesn't. Bull Nakano.
IWGP.
Bull Nakano being in the WWE Hall of Fame
Master
finally
Wato.
is insane. And then the craziest part was she said she got one more match left in her. Is what I was like, okay, let's fucking go, dude.
My favorite part of that announcement was seeing somebody on Twitter be like, "Who the fuck is Bull Nakano?" And then the algorithm for Twitter directly underneath that was somebody quoting an interview with Bull Nakano talking about women wrestlers today doing her face paint. Yeah, but who the fuck is Bull Nakano, right?
Yeah.
Idiot.
Rhea did it. Beth Phoenix did it.
Beth Phoenix did it. Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. Like, I don't understand. I mean, the thing that I saw was, I think it was Cher Delaware quote tweeted somebody that said, anybody that acts like they know who Bull Nakano doesn't actually know who Bull Nakano is. Like, it was weird. I was like, wait a minute. So they took the stance of, hey, I don't know who this person is, so there's no way that anybody else knows who it is either. That's the way I read it. I answered it too, or I quote tweeted, I think, something like that. I either replied to it or quote tweeted. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna read the tweet because we're gonna make it to mark that tweet, even though I don't have that set up. I do not have that set up right now. But we're gonna give it to this person.
You're so fucking lazy today.
Dude, I don't have anything set up. What are you talking about?
Bobo ass podcast. You got no. We need shining.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have all the bells and whistles set up.
Where's that Steam Deck transition?
I don't have that set up either, actually.
Stream Deck. I don't know. I guess it's Steam Deck. Cher Delaware.
Just be glad I have a Stream Deck, bitch.
Cher Delaware said that. That's weird.
No, she did not say that. She quote tweeted somebody that said that.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say because she's normally not, what do you mean? Like she's not.
She made her fucking Cher Delaware made Bull Nakano like May 7th because she's doing the International Women's Month thing where she's highlighting a woman every day or whatever. And Bull Nakano was like on May 7th or whatever, like literally the day.
It doesn't sound like her. Are we sure?
Yeah. No, it wasn't her. Hold on. I'm trying to find it because these people tweet a lot and I do not. So.
I mean, it's got a search function. So you just
shouldn't be that fucking far down though.
Look.
I'm almost there now. Oh, here we go. All right, so at the Aaron Brand is who posted this.
Okay.
So they quote tweeted WWE with the US Express
so far.
Yeah, That's it. LOL, this
I'm
Hall of Fame
sorry.
class sucks so far. I'm sorry. Who? And don't pretend like you actually care about Bull Nakano or know who she is either. So, I mean, that can't be exclusive things. It's either one or the other, by the way. So if you pretend like you actually care about Bull Nakano or know who she is, what? At this point, unless some decent names are going in alongside Heyman, I may not even drive up to Philadelphia until Saturday morning. Let me tell you, Aaron, no one gives a fuck if you drive up to Philadelphia on Sunday morning or Saturday morning or not.
We don't care.
No one wants to see you. All right.
Ain't nobody's going for you, Aaron. Oh fuck, Aaron's not here? Can we start yet? That man's withholding his presence from us.
Yes, I did have to delete and repost this tweet a third time because of typos. So you posted this dumb take 3 times?
Multiple times. You had time to think about this, brother?
Please, can they put in Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper together in at the same time as a tag team in the Wyatt family? And then somebody say, you do realize that one of Bray's dads is in the U.S. Express.
One of Bray's dads.
You know what their reply was? Not that they knew or anything. This is the only time you ever interact with my account in a year, and it's to dunk on me. Nice. You kept tabs on how long it's been since somebody interacted with your account? Like, this dude is weird. Let me tell you, at Aaron Brand on Twitter, The Brand Wrestling, you don't even know who the fuck Bull Nakano is. You should not be tweeting about wrestling at all.
What is your brand?
By the way,
What's his brand?
All right, listen.
I'm looking for his brand.
I mean, my brand is not great either, but my favorite part was when I quote tweeted this, and I did.
He said,
Where's my quote?
Just another guy tweeting about pro
Oh,
wrestling.
no, I replied to it.
Take a follow,
You know what my reply to? Cher Delaware said, most of us know who Bull Nakano is, baby. That's all she said, right? So I replied. I don't think he replied to her because that would have been like, he's an idiot. He's like getting destroyed on Twitter right now. I said, it's okay. We don't have to read any more dumbass takes from this account after WrestleMania 40, apparently, according to their own profile. So we just got to ignore it until then. What a dumbass take. Quote, I don't know who these people are, so there's no way you do either, Aaron. And the reason I said that is because if you go to his profile,
it's in his bio, yeah.
In his bio, it literally says, just another guy tweeting about pro wrestling to an apathetic follower base. Will be permanently leaving Twitter after WrestleMania 40, which I will be at, by the way. I cannot wait for WrestleMania 40. My hype level just went up another point. Because now I don't have to see dumbass takes from at Aaron Brand.
Yeah, all right. WrestleMania is going to be 10 for me. No more Aaron Brand.
I'm super excited for at the Aaron Brand to be off of Twitter. And if that's what I remember the most coming out of WrestleMania 40, I'm good with it. Hype levels are now 9 and 10.
Truly the Sting retirement match of WrestleMania 40.
It's the Sting. It's his revolution, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's at the Aaron Brand's revolution. Let's fucking go.
Who are we putting through glass to send off Aaron?
I'm putting Aaron through glass.
Oh yeah, shit.
Fuck Aaron.
All right.
What a terrible take. I wish I had my shit set up, dude. Oh my god, MJF would be roasting you right now if I had my shit set up.
I think some people might know who Bull Nakano is, especially since they're going into a Hall of Fame, picked by people who are in the wrestling industry. Could just be a fucking guess.
I don't know who she is, even though I've been on this show for fucking, 5 years now, saying that, hey, Bull Nakano needs to be in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Also, nobody knows who Mike Rotunda is. And
Or Barry Windham.
Or Barry Windham. We don't know who
Barry Windham is a bigger star than Mike Rotunda.
Yeah, people remember IRS more, but Wyndham was obviously like in Four Horsemen stuff, the better wrestler, I would say, of the two.
He was a former fucking champ. He was a former world champion in the NWA.
Yeah. So just no, who? Nobody knows who that is. What's NWA? The rap.
Don't pretend you know who Bull Nakano is, you fucking loser. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Shit.
That's what the fuck we're dealing with right now on Twitter. These types of people here. The same type of people that said, who's that grandma on the left when they're talking about Sherry Martel in a DLC pack for WWE2K24. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? You mean the two of the fucking women's wrestlers that the current roster looked up to? to become wrestlers themselves.
Who is Luna Vachon?
I have a Luna Vachon shirt too, actually. I need to rock that next week. International Women's Month. I'm going to rock a women's shirt every show this week, or every show this month. How about that?
Wow. Pandering.
And Aaron Brand isn't going to know who any of them are.
I'm going to wear my Aaron Brand shirt.
He's got to have one, right? He's got a brand. I'm going to rock. Okay, so Bull Nakano today. I'll rock fucking Sunday. I'll be rocking Luna Vachon. And then the next week, I'll probably rock. I got a Daphne shirt. I got 2 Daphne shirts, actually. I got a Daphne shirt. I've got a Sasha Banks shirt. I've got a Charlotte Flair shirt. No, I got options. We only have how many Sundays are in this month? 4?
I think so, yeah.
Did we miss one already though? I think we might have missed one already.
Well, we missed Revolution because it was the third.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I missed one. Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Just wear 2 shirts next week.
Yeah, I will. I'll rock 2 shirts.
Let's take one off midway through.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I don't care. I'll do it. Are you guys okay with current performers being inducted into the Hall of Fame like Rey Mysterio and Heyman? It's super weird for me since I always remember retired guys being inducted. It is a little weird for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm okay with the Heyman thing because he's not an active performer per se in the ring. Like, I'm okay with that. And he's also had an insanely long career. So I'm okay with that one. But I give a pass to the things like Sting and Edge because they really thought they were retired. Okay, so that's different. But like, when you say active, when you talk about Rey Mysterio, yes, I do think that's weird. I do think Rey Mysterio being inducted is weird.
I don't. I think there's a couple things about it too. I've seen too many guys that get all this admiration and all their flowers and shit after they're dead, or after they're like,
if my 2 options are posthumously or fucking,
yeah, but you don't know when people are gonna die, bro.
Yeah, I know. If my 2 options are that or that, then yes, induct them while they're still active. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, because I'll put it like this. I have less of a problem with Rey Mysterio being inducted while he's active than I do Vader while he's already dead. Because that pissed me off. Because not only was he inducted after the fact, but he was already retired. So you had time. And he told you that he didn't have long to live, and you still didn't induct him while he was still alive when you had a chance. That annoys me. Now, if it's something like Kurt Hennig or Rick Rude, when they were still active and they passed away from an overdose, that's not WWE's fault. In my opinion, because he was still active.
It doesn't bother me that much because I feel like being able to say on commentary or whatever, like as they're wrestling, it's a WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. It does give them like a lot more levity, even in matches where they're losing too. There's or not levity, gravity. So it doesn't bother me that much. I think it's fine.
Well, okay, so Lita and Trish, when Lita and Trish were inducted and now they were active with titles and shit, you have no issue with that. Like, I mean, not that you have an issue with it, but it's not weird to you. It doesn't it's like weird that they just they got their flowers and now they're still doing stuff even after the fact.
No, that's not weird to me. Currently, no.
But do you not understand why people would think that's weird? That's like if Jordan goes into the Hall of Fame and then comes back and plays fucking basketball again.
If they're near the end of their career, it doesn't bother me that much.
I think that's part of the reason why NFL and NBA and stuff, you have to be out of the league for so many years after retirement before you can even be considered inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, what's weird about it for you? Like, what part of it is like, do you think they're going to have a worse career for the next 3 years and fuck up their Hall of Fame legacy? Like, what's
I'm not saying that's impossible. It would be very hard to do, but
right.
But no, I don't know. It's just weird because that's not how it's ever been done, I guess. That's not how we've been conditioned to do. I'm cool with people getting their flowers while they're alive. Or while they're active.
We do Lifetime Achievement Awards for actors while they're still actively acting. What's the difference?
They're not a Hall of Fame of acting, though.
The Lifetime Achievement Award is essentially the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but there's only one person that gets that. It's not like a whole fucking show with fucking 5 Lifetime Achievement Awards for people.
Sure, but it's one every year, right?
Yeah, but that's still not even close to what the fuck this is.
Oh, because it's 4 people? It's different. Like, come on.
And also, the Lifetime Achievement Awards, they've already gotten a ton of awards throughout their career. This is the only thing where you're getting awards.
Well, it depends. Do you consider, like, championships awards from the promotion?
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, I guess I would say that, but it's predetermined. So like you got your really good wrestlers
Oh,
that
acting.
No, what I'm saying is what I'm saying what I'm saying is that like there could be a really good if there's a really good actor or actress, right? And they're not winning any awards, eventually they're going to keep winning. They're going to win those awards. Okay? There's a really good wrestler in WWE like Claudio who never won the fucking world title but should have. That's the difference of a thing. Like he's going to get his flowers, but he wasn't winning awards throughout his time of become like he's not building a fucking Hall of Fame brand to get into the Hall of Fame. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have said that he was somebody that should be in the Hall of Fame.
What?
Not at the place like not where he was in his career, and maybe not like he's not late enough in his career, and I don't think he's done enough yet to make that case like I would for maybe say like who's still active that I would say should probably go in there. Wouldn't bother me if they went in there.
Here's the real thing, Macho Manny. This is what it boils down for me. I don't give a fuck when anyone is inducted. They could induct people that's not even at the Hall of Fame ceremony. In November, they could induct somebody in the Hall of Fame because, you know why? Because Godfather's in the Hall of Fame. So really, their Hall of Fame is nothing to me anyway. It's nothing to me, dude. It is nothing to me.
It's so negative.
It's not negative. It's the truth. If Godfather is in the Hall of Fame, then anybody can be in the Hall of Fame. That's the truth of the whole thing, dude. It's the truth of all of it. So yes, it is weird for me. I'm on your side, Macho Mania, on this one. I understand the weirdness of it. Like it does feel kind of weird, but I'm also on the side of Ryan, where it's like if I have the choice of Rey Mysterio being inducted while he's active or Rey Mysterio being inducted after he passes away, I'm going to choose active. Okay,
and the thing is, when you get to the tail end of some of these guys' careers, like especially you see this with Japanese and Mexican wrestlers too. All Japan wrestler just died today. Yutaka Yoshi, the All Japan wrestler, he died after a match this morning. He's like 50 years old, still wrestling, still active. Didn't feel good after a match, went backstage and died this morning. And that's one of those things like it's obviously it's not super common, but it happens enough to where I'm like it doesn't bother me to put somebody in the Hall of Fame while they're still active, as long as they're obviously like near the tail end of their career. I would say even putting in like AJ right now feels a little bit premature because you feel like he's got, another good 5 years if he really wants to.
I don't think he wants to. I don't think he's going to go 5 more years. I don't think
he wants to, but like
no, Rey Mysterio and Paul Heyman, I'm 100% on your side on this. Like those, I'm cool with those. Rey Mysterio and Paul Heyman have had insanely long careers.
How old is Rey Mysterio?
He's pretty old.
Like okay, so like let's say they wanted to put in Jericho right now, it wouldn't bother me. Yeah, Mysterio.
Yeah, because we don't think Jericho's going to win another world title, though. I think that's part of it too. I don't think Rey Mysterio is going to win another world title. I don't think Jericho is going to win one, or Rey Mysterio, or.
So you don't mean still active? You just mean still at the top of the card.
Yeah, that too. That plays a part into it too. Yeah, for sure. Like Rey Mysterio is active, but he's not full time, in my opinion. He's not wrestling every fucking show. That matters too. Jericho's actually wrestling more than Rey Mysterio is right now.
Yeah. To the chagrin of many. Some people do not like seeing that motherfucker on their television.
I understand some of it, but the other parts of it, like the body shaming part of it, I don't understand that because like he's probably in better shape than you are.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
If Sting was walking around without that shirt on over the singlet, like you'd be probably hating on that man too. Then if that's the case,
so here's the thing too. Like let's say Jeff Jarrett wasn't inducted when he was. And he wasn't in AEW, it was maybe active in like TNA or something right now, right? I wouldn't mind if they inducted him while he was still active.
If they have if they have active careers where they can still win world titles, I think that hinders it for me a little bit.
Okay, well that's different.
It's a little different, yes. It's a case by case thing.
At the tail end of their career, then it's fine.
I would say it's more case by case. Like the Rey Mysterio thing doesn't bother me as much. The Edge didn't bother me just because yes, he could win an AEW World Championship, but he thought he was fucking done. Like he legit was retired.
Well, then we couldn't do Jeff Jarrett today. That man has always got a chance to be the champion.
Strongly disagree.
He got a crazy pop at Revolution. I don't know if it came through on television.
No, it came through. It came through.
It came out. Okay.
Yeah. Greensboro, baby. Greensboro, baby. They love him down in the South. They love Jeff Jarrett. Probably didn't even know he still fucking wrestled. Probably was like, oh damn, I know this guy. Oh yeah.
No, Jeff Jarrett.
I know Jeff Jarrett.
I saw
J-E
him
double
on
F J A double R E double
Charleston
T.
show in 1986. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, if I had the option
I
of-
kind of understand. Like, if they're at the top of the card, then it seems kind of like it seems a little weird.
Because
I guess I can agree with that.
their accomplishments that you're going to put on stuff is not done
Aren't
yet.
done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. But no, I would say if they're winding down and their career and still active, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, Macho Man.
We reached a normal consensus for once. That's
How about
good.
that? You're
Wrong.
wrong.
All right, let's talk about Master Watto.
No.
Let's talk about Austin not being that fucking good.
Dude, don't start with me. There was a great fucking post by Dark Flow. I think it was Dark Flow. Could have been somebody else. Great Muta versus Stunning Steve Austin in WCW was
Wow.
amazing. Don't start your shit.
Okay.
Do not start
So
your shit.
Oh, he got carried in a match by Muta. He's so
He got
good.
carried. It was
Yeah.
more of an Osprey Takeshita site situation. First
okay.
of all.
Okay.
First of all, dude.
That's-
Don't start your shit with me, dude.
Just because
Don't
one
start-
guy's blonde and one guy's Japanese doesn't mean that's Takeshita.
Don't start your shit with me with Austin, dude. By the way, let's talk about something. You know what? I did want to bring this up on the show and I forgot to write it down. This is going to be interesting for you. This should be fun. Is there anybody on your Mount Rushmore
No. I would have never defaced that mountain.
that you would take off for Sting? I don't think Sting gets talked about for Mount Rushmore stuff nearly as often as he should. Because I never hear his name brought up. Should Sting be on people's Mount Rushmore?
The problem is that he's like a B+ at everything. And his appeal is like the longevity and stuff of his character. But he's not like a A+ at any aspect of his stuff. I think that's kind of why people don't think of him as like a Mount Rushmore guy. Now, if it was like
Got an A+
Mount
in
Rushmore, like-
longevity.
yeah, right. That's what I was gonna say. Like, if it was a Mount Rushmore of like guys with like the longest, most storied, varied, like legendary careers or whatever the fuck, you could make the argument for Sting. But if you're just saying like best wrestler or something, it's hard to say that he would be on it.
So it had to be a specific Mount Rushmore. I
Yeah.
mean, most Mount Rushmores that we do on here are very specific anyway. We're like, oh, we're talking about in-ring work. Are we talking about character work? Are we talking about merchandise sales? I feel like he did a lot of that. Like, even if it's a B+ and all those things, he should probably be on people's Mount Rushmores.
Maybe it'd have to be a specific.
Think about the merch he sells. Think about how many people fucking paint their face for that man. How over he was always ever since Sting was in the main event. He never left the main event, dude. He was always like the main dude people went to go see. He sold 16,000 fucking seats for his last match. Ric Flair could never do that.
Yeah, that's true. I was paying to see Jarrett, but
I
it's
know
nice to
one
see
of the
Jarrett.
guys I missed that I'm shocked didn't come back to wrestling and became big shit was Maven from the Ruthless Aggression era. I thought he was really good, and his YouTube channel is awesome. I do like his YouTube channel. I have seen it.
I have too. Yeah, I thought it was good.
The only thing
His,
that sucks about Sting is that he never ended up having a match with Undertaker. Now, when he wanted to have the match initially in 2002, 2003, I
That would've
agree.
been fine.
Even 2011, I would have been that was peak Taker as long as like we're talking in-ring performance. But when he actually showed up in like 2014 or whatever the fuck it was at Survivor Series, no, probably not.
He's saying that Taker would have shat that match. up.
Correct, and it would
That's
have
what he
fucked up
means.
Sting's reputation.
Yeah.
Probably more so than Triple
And
H did.
Taker would have probably gone over given the
Yeah, Taker would have
environment
went
that it
over
was
for
held
sure.
in,
Yeah,
so.
I agree with that too. Especially where Taker was in 2014,
Yeah.
versus Sting. So I do hate that match never took place, but it might be a good thing honestly for us that it never took place. There is people that say that Undertaker didn't want it, including Sting himself, that he wasn't interested. Well, that could have been because by the time they started talking about it, he had already had shit the bed with Goldberg in Saudi Arabia and shit, and he didn't want to have two old dudes in there again because of what happened with Goldberg. I think so. If that's the case, then I don't fault Undertaker from that at all.
Undertaker, he's so weird because it seems like sometimes he understands his limitations and doesn't want to be that guy, and then sometimes the check they put in front of him,
Yeah, he
is
has
big
to
enough
say yes.
where he's
Yeah.
like, "Fuck it, I don't care."
Oh, I mean,
So, yeah.
let's think about this. If I go out there and shit the bed with Goldberg, I can easily blame that on Goldberg. If I go out there and shit the bed with Sting, no one's going to believe that it was Sting's fault.
Yeah, that's your fault, brother. had a
This
bad
man
match
had
with
fucking.
Bryan
This man had
Danielson
8 years to
because-
rest up. Like, no, it was your fault, buddy. It was your fault.
And
Plus, Sting is also
the-
older than Goldberg as well. So if you can imagine in that heat that Goldberg and Undertaker shit the bed like that, I can only imagine what Sting would have had no face paint on by the time he walked to the ring. That's how hot it was there for that match. It was
melty
nuts.
out there. And on the Maven thing, I don't know that I would really care if he came back as a wrestler, but I do enjoy his YouTube channel a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like that's somebody that should have already came back in the past, not necessarily needs to come back today. But like, I'm
He's done a
surprised he
couple-
never got another run in WWE.
I think he did a couple of indie things, but I don't think
Yeah,
he was ever like
he did some indie stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always a big fan of Maven. I wanted Maven or Josh to win, so I was going for both of them
Yeah.
during that Tough Enough.
I didn't mind Pewter.
That was not the same. That was not the same Tough Enough.
Yeah, I don't. They're all the same to me. Kind of wasn't too mad at the Goldberg Taker match. Okay, well then I don't. Macho Man, you have much more patience than I do.
I wasn't too mad at the Goldberg Taker match from Saudi Arabia.
What?
You might want to go watch that again, Macho.
Well, maybe by not.
Did you have some really good
mad,
food that was
it was
distracting you?
funny. Yeah, he had.
Were you distracted by really good food during that match? Because it is
DoorDash
awful.
promo code MonsterCast. No, we don't have a sponsorship, but
I do have a couple actually.
well, we're not gonna do them.
Yeah, I don't have it set up, but I do have a couple.
Save that shit for your video game streams. I'm not a corporate shill. No, I wasn't mad at it in the sense that I wasn't oh, it was a bad match, but I didn't care. If that's what you mean by not mad at it. If you mean you thought it was good,
I mean, if there was a title on the line, yes, I would have been pissed.
you got to give me mods so I can ban this.
I can't really be mad at anything on a Saudi show anyway, because I don't think anyone's there to care.
It's not canon.
Yeah, exactly. It's not canon.
Yeah. I don't think that much about the Saudi stuff.
All right. This has been almost a 3-hour show.
Well,
it's been fun coming back and talking wrestling and catching up on everything. And I really wanted to make sure we got this show in because next week there's going to be more shit to talk about when Big Business is complete. We got WrestleMania 40 around the corner.
Mm.
It's going to be quite crazy. I've already got the day off or night off for Dynasty, so I'm hyped for that.
I'm gonna look into going, but I probably won't go. St. Louis just doesn't seem like Greensboro's easy to do. It's a few hour drive. Wasn't that big of a deal, but I don't think I'd do St. Louis. That's a bit much for I don't know. We'll see what else they put on the card. Ospreay Danielson's real appealing to me, but they're gonna have to put some other stuff on there for sure. Before I'm like, okay, let me pull the trigger on that.
Dude, you're going to basically get to see a fucking free Forbidden Door. Well, I won't say free because you're going to pay to see it, but you get what I'm saying? Like Danielson versus Ospreay. Danielson versus Ospreay, and you know Okada's going to be on there, and then Mercedes is going to be on there. Like it's going to be an insane fucking show, as long as nobody gets hurt. Cross our fingers, obviously.
Yeah. Well.
All right, so that's going to do it for the show this week. We will be back next week. Appreciate everybody and Macho, obviously, for being in the chat, for coming through.
Glad you found us again.
Yeah. I mean, I messaged him and...
What did we lose last year? I didn't lose no bet. I've never lost a bet in my life.
Oh, yeah, he lost. If you're talking about the predictions, oh, he definitely lost. If you're talking about predictions, sure to be wrong, I beat him. That's why we had to introduce confidence pick, so he had a chance. Let me see.
Who won the...
I actually have it listed.
Cardi 100% was winning the title. He is. This year.
Yeah, he is this year.
We never said win.
This year. This year.
Just say he's winning the title.
Oh, who was the other dude I messaged on fucking Twitch? Who was our other dude that used to come in all the time?
I think when we were doing the WrestleMania predictions, we were like, yeah, there's no way that they'd...
Taekwon, I messaged him too and told him.
Yeah.
I told them both that we were moved over to YouTube for the show. I still stream on Twitch, obviously, with video games, but... all right. So, oh, hey, before we get out of here, this should take us to 3 hours because we're 2:46 right now. I'll tell you do you have an issue with the Prime logo in the ring?
They just, if they're going to have a logo in the ring, they need to do it like New Japan or like AEW where it fits with the shape and flow of the ring and not like gaudy in the fucking center like they have it.
Okay, so that's the thing. Like Chris Van Fleet, I quote tweeted him with my notes app because it was too long. But yeah, he's not passing Hogan, bro. Cody's winning this year. Cody's winning, Macho Man. Don't get me started. You wait till our prediction show. You make sure you're in there for our prediction show, because I'm telling you.
I have said multiple times that I think the best possible outcome would be to have Roman win. Again, because it's A, funny as fuck, and B, it does pass Hogan's record.
I'll tell you the issue with the Prime logo in the middle of the ring for fans and why they don't like it. Because Chris Van Fleet and Sean Ross Sapp, and this is like one of the few times I do not agree with their take on it at all, right? Because it's directly in the middle of the fucking ring.
Yeah.
All right? Shit in the corners that's literally small black DraftKings text isn't nearly as intrusive as a big colorful logo smack dab in the middle of a fucking white canvas.
Yeah.
Using an example of WCW with 90% pay-per-view logo and 10% Snickers or Slim Jim logo is not the same. I personally don't have an issue with sponsors on the ring or turnbuckles, but I do have a problem when it clearly distracts. You had people complain about ring rope colors and red cage matches being distracting. Let's not act surprised that people aren't happy with this. Now, they could change it by the pay-per-view at WrestleMania and change the placement of it or make it smaller or whatever, and I'd be cool with that. Maybe this was just for the initial storyline purpose of people getting heat on fucking Logan Paul by putting this big-ass giant Prime bottle in the middle of the ring.
Right. That was my thought, too. It's like, it's so obnoxiously bad that I was almost like, okay, no, this is a work to get people annoyed with Logan Paul.
Yeah, which is
not
fine.
like a real...
But don't tell fans that they shouldn't have an issue with something, especially something as big of an eyesore as that fucking thing was.
And it's significantly different than the things that he's comparing it to, yeah.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Even New Japan is full of fucking logos. But the thing about the New Japan stuff is that it's rectangular and fits with the flow and shape and like fits into the design elements of the ring as like a square. It's more symmetrical. It's more like, it's not nearly as gaudy. There's not so much fucking empty space around it that it distracts from a purely like a filmography point of view. Like when you're talking about like centering subjects and stuff like that, or like frame composition, to have something like that with that much empty space around it and then having moving figures on top of it, it's going to visually distract so much if that's like a real thing that they're doing. So they either need to get more fucking sponsors, or here's my thought that I thought was a better idea. You put them diagonally in the corners facing, like the lid of the bottle points to the turnbuckle and it comes out diagonally a little bit and you've got one in each corner. That's it. It doesn't distract from the flow of visually from the flow of the ring, and it'd probably be barely noticeable.
Correct. I'm cool with that. I just need it to be not in the middle of the ring with one fucking bottle. Like, I'd rather you have fucking 60 bottles of Prime in there like they were the fucking bugs on the Bray Wyatt match. Like, I'd rather that. Where the whole canvas is just Prime bottles.
I forgot about the projector bugs.
I mean, that's what the Prime thing was. It was a projector.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't know that it's real. I think it's to get heat on Logan because everybody just...
We'll see what happens. But I find it hard to believe they're going to start with that at WrestleMania 40, the biggest WrestleMania of all time.
No, I think that they put it on there and then somebody like goes and fucks it up and everybody cheers for them for fucking it up. He might have like an actual sponsorship with them or whatever. And I know that UFC does a lot of logos on their shit, so it could even be like a real thing from TKO. But my thought on it is, with it being done as the projector, with Logan Paul being a heel, it's almost like to be obnoxious, which will make everybody that's currently like, oh no, it's not that bad, like it's okay, like it's fine, you guys are overreacting. If they're doing it to get heel heat and your response is, no, it's actually fine and you should be cool with it, then you just look fucking dumb for pretending that it wasn't supposed to be obnoxious and pretending that it's okay. Like that's my initial thought on all of it. I think it could be work to get people irritated with it. Also, Manny, CM Punk did, and Austin did, so I would count them too.
Yeah, CM Punk easily took out The Rock with the "too short to box with God" line.
Even
destroyed The Rock.
He stole that, but it's fine.
But still, yeah, so it's whatever. But yeah, and Austin did too. Yeah, for sure.
Austin. You mealy mouth son of a bitch. That's all you gotta say.
I mean, look at my favorite. What was favorite Raw ending with The Rock and Austin when they ended up singing together or whatever in Rock Bottom. But pay attention to their back and forth. Austin killed him with almost minimal effort. The Rock would go on this diatribe rant, and then Austin would be like, "What?"
Fine speech.
What in this fucking
He finds
CM Punk, Austin, Cena all beat Rock on the mic, in my opinion. Jericho maybe too, actually.
Jericho, also Hurricane Helms.
Anyway, Hurricane Helms did
I'm
not beat
serious.
The Rock on the mic, dude. Not
Yes,
on the
he did.
mic. No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, he did
Yes,
not,
he
dude.
did.
Oh
Yes,
my
he
god, we
did.
gotta get the fuck out of here before Ryan says some more asinine shit and it's taped.
I will show you the
This
promo.
does not need to be on the record, bro. Hurricane Helms did not beat The Rock on no microphone.
I will show you right now.
Okay, well you show me. That's gonna do it for the show this week. We'll see you guys next Sunday right here on the MonsterCast. Deuces.
Yeah, you don't want people to know I'm right.
I promise you that you're not